If you held a gun to my head and you said I have to make $100,000 a month in the next 60 to 90 days, the 3 cities I would pick to live in: Omaha, Nebraska; Des Moines, Iowa; Fargo, North Dakota. Why? Personal brand is by far the best asset you can have in 2026. If you could have 2 Bitcoin, 100,000 YouTube subscribers, Instagram subscribers, I'm taking something in the Instagram YouTube world. It's so powerful because if you do it right, you can just make all of the money back, and it's an engine that's just going to continue to feed itself forever. I came into marriage with $37,000 of debt. I landed the first whale client, hit $10,000 a month, and I was just like, this is crazy. Things are starting to change. And then the next month, we paid off all of my debt. This is so wild. If you post on January 1st and you get 1% better every day through 2026, you will be in the top 0.1% of your niche.
It's been so fun to watch you explode seemingly overnight. Little do they know it was a long journey, which I'm happy to get into, but man, I'm just so happy for you. And you're building a family, you're building a business, your business is helping people, other people build their business. And I just can't wait to see what it unfolds into in the middle of Omaha, Nebraska, bro.
Dude, it's crazy. It would have been February. We're coming up on what, year 3? Was it? Or no, was that 2 years ago? We're coming up on 2 years since I got in the space through you, bro. Yeah. Through you. So
okay,
it's nuts. It's been a long 2 years.
So let's dive in. So I want to go. We can get all the tactics and the strategy and everything, but let's start off with the chronological story. Okay. So origin story 0 to 1. Tell me about where you were 2 years ago. Yeah, coming up on that 2-year thing, which we can talk about. But where were you 2 years ago?
Yeah, so 3 years ago, coming up, well, 2.5, coming up in May of 2026, it'll be 3 years. So 2023, I quit. I was working in ministry. I worked for a church, and I left that because wanted to provide for my family a little bit more, and wanted to stay local to Omaha. And it's hard to do both in ministry. And I took a year where I was trying to be a creator. You know, I started my own podcast. I started my own YouTube channel. And I tried to be an influencer creator, right? That doesn't pay the bills early. And I needed to pay the bills soon because we got pregnant and we were going to have our first kid. But I started to learn a lot of the techniques of content around then, learning how to make YouTube thumbnails, watching a bunch of stuff on how to clip up my YouTubes, how to do short form, all this stuff. I'm basically gathering the skill set a little bit. And then I find myself, 5 emails deep into an email sequence about how to make $10,000 writing emails. Next thing you know, there's this link at the bottom, and I click this link, and some guy named Tristan texts me, probably an hour later, and then that would have been February of 2024. So we're coming up on 2 years there. And at that time, like that whole year from May of 2023 to February of 2024, I never made more than $3,000 a month. It was my part-time ministry job, $500 on sorry, that threw me off a little bit. $500 on the podcast. There was basically no revenue coming in.
Right.
And then me and you talked on February 2024.
Yep. So
2 years.
So for those who don't know, a lot of people that know me know, but I was a closer for the Premium Ghostwriting Academy with Dickie Bush and Nicholas Cole for 22 months, so just basically 2 years. And you jumped on the sales call, and we went through everything, and we were talking about your current situation, how you were a youth pastor making like $15 an hour, and you were about to have a kid, and you wanted to create a business and get to $10K a month. And so we went through the whole thing. And we got to the end of the call, and you're like, yeah, man, like there's no way I can do this without running it by my wife. Right. And I was like, okay, perfect. Like, no problem. Totally hear you there. Outside of that, though, are you all in on this? You're like, yeah, I could find a way to make the funds work, but it would be really tight. I would definitely need it broken up. I was like, I got you. Like, we're not going to let logistics be the only thing that stops us from making this thing happen. And for me, man, like I believe in people so much. And so transformational coaching is so fun to sell, because if someone tells me their goals, I'm going to be more convicted than they are. I'm going to bring that interest level up so high. And that's what I felt when I was talking to you and a bunch of other people, right? But for you specifically, I was like, I know you got that dog in you. And I had checked you out in between the sales call and you actually booking, because I wanted to learn a little bit more about you. And you told me you had a podcast and stuff, so I went and checked it out. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Clearly you're an action taker, right? And that actually served as a bit of evidence that you could or would do the things that we laid out for you. And so I ended up convincing you to do $1,000 deposit. And I was like, hey, let's do $1,000 now. Talk to the wife. If she loves it, which I'm sure she'll support you getting to 10K a month, we'll just double down and we're good to go. Or if she's like, Briar, this is the dumbest thing you've ever done, I'm going to whack you in the head with a frying pan. Like, we can just give you the $1,000 back. You're like, okay. So after some pulling teeth, you put down the $1,000. And then before our next call to ice it, you emailed me. I'll throw the email up on the screen right here. You emailed me and you said, hey, man, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to have to get a refund. And my wife just isn't going for it. You know, we've got this baby coming up and it's just too risky.
Yeah.
And I sent you, speaking of copywriting, I went and looked back at it. Bro, I sent you a banger email response where it was like, man, I'm so bummed to hear that after going through your goals and hearing about your vision. Like, it's really unfortunate that we're going to have to stay at just doing youth ministry and making $15 an hour, which is cool, but it's not going to get you to 10K a month.
Right.
And so I hit you with that compelling email and we got back on the phone and you're like, dude, I'm going to need a little bit more certainty in this. And I don't know what possessed me to do it. I have done it probably 3 or 4 times over the course of my sales career. But I was like, dude, if you need a guarantee, I will literally guarantee it in writing. As long as you do every single thing that we say, I will virtually and literally guarantee that you succeed.
And you were going to be the one that would pay for it back.
Yeah. And I said,
that was the craziest thing.
It's probably illegal. But I was like, if you don't land a client in 8 weeks, I'll pay for the entire program. And, whatever inspired me to do that, who knows, but that's God, you know? And I remember writing it in an email. You're like, I got to get this in writing. So I wrote it. I was like, I will literally guarantee that you land a client in 8 weeks or I will pay for the investment.
Yep.
And so lo and behold, you stuck it out. And then what happened?
Dude, lo and behold, I stuck it out. Well, first, just to backtrack, I will never forget going for a walk with Olivia and her being so pissed, bro. Bro, she was so mad. Well, to be clear, I want you to know, like, I had given Olivia, I was such a scumbag up until that point. I'm playing video games for 3 to 4 hours a day. I, would lie about buying a bag of chips because I don't want Olivia to get mad at me for a $2.50 purchase. And I would hide it in my car.
No reason to believe in you.
No, dude. And I tell people this all the time. Like, you can't walk around and be like, why doesn't this person believe in me whenever you've given them no proof or trust that they should believe in you. In fact, the very first thing you need to do is you need to have self-belief. That has to come first. You have to believe that you're capable of doing more. And then you stack the chips. Now, Olivia, I could spend 50 grand on something. She's like, I trust you.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter anymore because I've stacked the chips. And yeah, like, dream scenario, sure, you got a girl that believes in you no matter what. I don't know why she's believing in this guy that's playing freaking Apex Legends, spinning. Bro, every single dollar that Olivia would not know about, because I got it somehow, maybe I sold something on Facebook Marketplace, I was buying Apex Legends skins, bro. Skins. $500 to get an heirloom.
It happens.
You know?
Gamers become the best entrepreneurs.
They can if they can channel it, right? But a lot of times there's that dopamine that doesn't quite switch. But anyway, so I'll never forget, we're going for a walk literally 7 days before our daughter's born. And she's like, well, this is another important thing. I came into marriage with probably $37,000 of debt. And she came to marriage with 0 debt and probably a $40,000 savings account. And so I used her money, the money that she had been working for her whole life. And like, she was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, she was so upset. And then I was like, all right, I'll get the refund. I texted you and I was like, babe, it's a guarantee now. Like, you got to trust me. This is a win-win. This is a win-win. This is a no-brainer. There's zero risk in this. She was still upset because, I mean, she didn't know if this place was legit. A little bit. Yeah, I did. And it was disrespectful. And I actually don't recommend it. Yeah, I was young in my marriage at the time. And then fast forward, probably land a client. Probably not. I don't remember when I landed the client. It might not have been in the first 8 weeks, but it was close enough. I remember I basically had a client in the first 8 weeks, but it wasn't big. It was like
$1,000.
Yeah, it was $1,000 retained
in the 7th week.
Yeah,
because I texted Andrew and I was like, brother.
Yeah.
You have to make sure this guy succeeds, or I'm on the hook for.
There it is. Grand. That's what. Okay, I couldn't remember. It was $1,000 client in the 7th week, and then
It was a Christian influencer, wasn't it?
Yep. He was local to Omaha. I wrote some emails for him. That would have been April, May, and then June and July I probably would have landed a $3,000 client, and then in November or December I would have stacked three $1,000 retainers.
Okay.
So it would have been like basically from the end of February, so March. My daughter was born in March. This was basically whenever I started my online business. Guys, I do content, by the way. I don't know, but that's not what I was doing at the time. I was doing email marketing. So from March, it was $1,000 and then a $3,000 one time, and then we go into December with $3,000 a retainer. So I made $4,000 total, and now we're running $3,000 a retainer going into December of this is like basically a year ago now at this point.
Quick question. So crazy year.
Yeah, it's insane.
When you landed that first client, was there a bit more buy-in from Olivia and yourself? Like, what was that early stage like before we zoom to the next chapter? Like, what were some of those belief shifts after you actually did the thing? At least you had a little bit of proof of concept. Like, what was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think things felt like they changed until beginning of 2025. Like $1,000 was nice, but it was like, can I do it again? And then it would, 60 days go by, and then it's 3,000. It's like, oh my gosh, if I'm just gonna be making $3,000 every 60 days, maybe it'll get a little bit better. But yeah, there was belief, and then there's the where like you put your money where your mouth is. You're in. You can't leave. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the trenches now officially. I can't leave. Like this is what,
but you're choosing not to.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've made a commitment to myself, right? And I think that's like a great thing to do is sometimes just throw yourself into the fire. Don't burn the boats. Don't let yourself do anything else. So there wasn't much of a limiting belief change, I don't think, until probably a year ago. I really started taking my self-belief more serious. I would start every morning with a 2-hour YouTube video that is just clips of motivational speeches, bro. It literally 2 hours.
Goggins.
Yeah, bro. It would literally be like David Goggins be like, burn the boats. Then it would go to Hormozy being like, this is the lonely chapter. And then it would cut to someone else, and it would be, Jocko Willink be like, it's cold outside. Good, bro. And then,
I know that exact video, bro. I gotta download it.
Exactly. And then it cuts to the YouTube channel is called Inspired by Florian, Florian. 2-hour long videos, and I just would inject it into my mind, bro, and just slowly start forming the self belief. And then I landed the first whale client, hit $10,000 a month, and I was just like, this is crazy.
So the 10K month was when it really like. There was that inflection.
I remember like getting a verbal to get to 10K and like crying, and then that person bailed, and then a week later actually getting the deposit from a different client for 10K, and I was like, holy cow, things are starting to change. This is so wild. And then
they wake up.
Yeah, exactly. And then the next month we paid off all of my debt, because I think we went from like 10 to 30, and that was whenever like Olivia and I looked at each other like, holy shit, is this real? Like, this is crazy. So that little window right there went from 0 to 100 really quick. But that's 2 years into the journey. 2 years of struggling through being a creator. 9 months, not quite 9, yeah, about 9 months of working through email, copywriting, general marketing before things like really popped. But
how I think it's important to highlight the fact that people go and want to become a doctor, right? And they're willing to go through like 6 years of med school or whatever the amount is, and being broke and being a student and then doing residency and just like really just like getting their teeth cut, and then they're finally a doctor, right? But whenever people jump into entrepreneurship or a personal brand or anything that has to do with the untraditional path, for some reason, our expectations are that it should just go boom, boom, boom.
Well, it's because of the risk, right? So like whenever you go through doctoral programs, there's this guarantee that it doesn't matter how long it's going to take me. It's 6, 7, 8 years. There's this guarantee that I get that median salary. And so you panic whenever there's no guarantee, because you wonder, is this ever going to happen? And so then you can press the timeline. I call it survival mode. It's whenever you don't know if things are going to work out, so you start frantically making decisions. This is where shiny object syndrome comes in. You tried growth operating, it didn't work, so 2 months later you now try email courses for 2 months, that didn't work, so then you go to content and you just jump around because you panic. It's usually because you need to make money really fast and you don't know if there's an end in sight. And so like I empathize with people who have like lower time horizons and aren't patient and can't grind through, but the antidote to that is getting your expenses below your revenue while you pound the stone on the side, right? That's what I think I wish I would have done, because then you can expand the time horizon forever. But yeah, to your point, like doctors, they have the 6-year goal where like I just have to suffer, like it's guaranteed, I don't have to panic, like I just gotta wait.
It's like there's a stability, right? And like anxiety is kind of like worrying about the future, and the root word of anxiety basically means something to be like scatterbrained or all over the place, all directions, right? And whenever you don't have that pathway laid out for you, the other pathways become really shiny and things like that, and people just have a hard time trusting the process. But it's because I recommend the burn the boats thing, but not for everybody, and probably not for most people, right? I've always done the burn the boats play, but if you're starting out and you're trying to do remote sales, or you're trying to build a brand or build a company, do it on the side. Like take the 2 hours of the day that you have free and the weekends. You could do so much in that amount of time and still pay your bills with your W-2 job. And then you have this proof of concept, right? Where confidence comes from evidence comes from effort. And so you can put those little effort deposits in, and it'll start to snowball up. And Dickie says like he didn't quit his job at BlackRock until Ship 30 was making double, right? And at that point, he was still freaking out. And so for everybody who wants to burn the boats, it's like, yeah, maybe. But there is a better way, and probably a less anxiety-inducing way. But one thing I want to add too is like with the belief shifting, some people just have the belief factor maybe installed if they had good parents or whatever it is. Like some people just have more confidence kind of innate in them, or they've been nurtured in a way to have more. But if you're the type of person where you're a scumbag or you're a piece of shit by your own estimation, and you just weren't living a really good life up until a certain point, which was certainly the case for me.
Same.
Like I was a drug dealer basically, and I was getting into trouble, got arrested a couple of times, just a complete follower, just like saying yes to all the wrong things. I had the wrong mentors, that's for sure. And at some point I had to decide like, I don't want this, right? And then I went through the whole Jordan Peterson, David Goggins YouTube, inhaling that, and Patrick Bet David just like dumping it all over me for like an hour, 2 hours a day, like you said. I think too many people get stuck there though, and they don't find a vehicle to apply those learnings into. And so whether it's a business, for me, it was running marathons at first and sales. But like, don't get stuck in that self-help phase.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Not much to add there. I think the big thing is just making sure that you will not become or do or achieve the things you want to do without daily action on the most important thing. The one thing, what's that quote? The one thing, the life you want is on the other side of the one thing you're avoiding. Right? So it's easy to listen to podcasts and all these different things. Oftentimes we can actually use them as a form of escapism.
Oh, definitely.
It's a form of procrastination, right? And at some point, you got to set KPIs, turn them into daily inputs, and then just pound the stone. 10 cold outreaches a day. It doesn't matter if I listen to my little podcast. If I don't get my 10 cold outreaches a day, then that was just noise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree
100%. Okay, so you had the 10K month inflection point. What happens next?
Yes, that would have been December of last year. Almost probably, it would have been like 2 weeks. We're about a year and 2 weeks away.
Okay.
So it was the week after Christmas, what I'm trying to say. And right now it's the 12th or 10th or 11th or something like that. So we get the $8,000 client, which changed my life. This is crazy. I can now like pay my bills. I quit my full-time job basically right after that, which I was maybe working 30 hours at, 25 hours at, while I was running this on the side. And then January comes of 2025, and this is where things really start to pump. Land another client through referral to get me to 17K. And then February, doubles. I think we did 35. I'm debt free in February. And then March comes around. And one really important nuance here is I actually ended up getting a different quote unquote full-time job for another marketing agency. So in January 1st, in this journey, I started working for Alex Garcia, who runs Marketing Examine. And this is a brand marketing agency. And so I saw this as a quote unquote client within my business, but it was a 50, 60-hour work week. Okay. And it was a full-time job, all this stuff. But Alex is one of the greatest marketers, I think, on the planet right now. And I wanted to
Shout
learn
out to
from him.
Alex.
Yeah. House.of.ag, whenever you go check him out on Instagram. And then through that, I got to work with Gary Brecka. I'm flying down with Alex, and we're in Miami, and I'm in a sauna with Kyle from Full Send. And I got to work with Jocko Willink, which is crazy. I'm on calls with Jocko. I got to work. Yeah, good, bro. Dude, it's actually, if you go to Jocko's Instagram, basically any post that came out between January and May was my strategy.
Wow.
So if you go to, not Jocko Willink, it's Jocko Fuel. It was his protein company. So I just got so much experience. Literally, that was the fast track to actually become a great marketer, right? Was day in, day out, writing an email for a Black Friday campaign because I was working, part-time with them before the turn of the year. Like, just all of that stuff was just so powerful. And a lot of people want to skip that stuff. They want to skip the apprenticeship. They want to skip the mentorship. They want to go do their own thing. And actually, the fast track is to go sit underneath someone, right? So this is where it's funny, I was making 80% of my money on my personal agency and about 20% of my time. But I was spending 80% of my time with Alex, which was about 20% of my agency income. But it was worth it because the skill acquisition that me and you talk about. So that's a huge inflection point. January 1, I come on full time with him. We did a little bit of part time before that. And I just cold DM'd him, by the way. Here's a strategy, cold DM strategy for you guys. If you want to get a hold of anybody in the whole world, this is exactly how I did it to get a job with the greatest marketer on the planet. You are going to remove everyone from your close friends list on Instagram. Okay. Then you're only going to put the people on your close friends that you want to get a hold of. Okay, let's say it's the content team or the email team or the marketing team of Lululemon. Who cares? You found them on LinkedIn. You figure out their Instagram. You're gonna put them on your close friends. They don't have to follow you. Then you're gonna record them a loom, and you're gonna talk about. You're gonna pitch yourself. You're gonna use some great copywriting principles. You're gonna pitch yourself. Then you're gonna record an Instagram story. Say, hey team, hey Lululemon team. Say their names. And because you will go to the top of their notification because it's a close friend stuff. Even if they're not following you, you go to the top of their notifications. So in the Instagram notification box, the very top Instagram or the very top notification is a story share, and then close friends is an even higher. So all their follows, all of their DMs, all of their comments are all below this. You move to the top. Okay, you get through the noise, and then in the story, they're going to click on it because they're going to be like, what the hell? The first thing you need to say is their name, because then they're going to get the pattern interrupt. Wait, holy cow, this person is literally talking to me in this story. This is so weird. And then you're going to say, I recorded you a video. It's right here. I promise you it's only 3 to 5 minutes. It won't take too much of your time because these people are busy. And then you got to crush the loom. You got to crush the loom. You got to crush the audition. Alex he said like 126 applications. And he hired me because I was the most creative one to get through it. I had by far the least marketing skills out of a lot of those people, So that's just a little hack right there to get a hold of anybody.
Yeah, dude, that's nuts, man. I also cold DM Dickie to get the job that I ended up being an apprentice under him and Cole for a long time, which just to double tap on that, like absolutely go and work for somebody else that is doing the thing that you want to do. And I'm so grateful for Dickie and Cole. Like, they taught me so much. I would be way behind what I am now without them. And it was just weekly iterations, helping me with my mindset, my mental health, helping me with my skill acquisition, helping me with everything. And that is so invaluable. Like, they cut me some pretty big checks too. Like, I was the most paid, if not like the second most paid person in the company. But the skill acquisition was much higher. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give myself too much credit on the strategy. I did cold DM on Instagram, where he's big on Twitter and LinkedIn, but I just cold DM'd him on Instagram, and he responded, and I just followed up like a madman, and that's what gave me my job. So cold DM strategy. There we go.
There you
Okay.
go. Real quick, another cold DM strategy, just to the best cold DM strategy I think in 2026 is DMing people on Substack.
Substack is about to rip, I heard.
Yeah, and these people are starting, a lot of these big creators are starting Substack, and there's a DM function, and the notifications for Substack are all the same. So you can DM them on Substack, and it's going to get through them no matter what. And the odds of them having a ton of Substack DMs is like non-existent because it's not a known product yet. So all of these big businesses, all these big creators are starting Substacks, but the supply and demand of DMs over there is non-existent. There's like nobody DMing me. Bro, I get all of my Substack. I've had 3 people DM me on Substack, and they've all gotten a reply from me because I'm like, this is crazy. It's so unique. I see it. It's so good. So you need to get a hold of somebody in 2026. DM them on Substack specifically.
100%. Okay, so you're getting the apprenticeship, even though it's only 20% of your income. That speaks volumes, right? Let's go 2020. This is 2024 now, or this is 2025?
This is this year. So this is like 12 months ago.
Okay, so 2025. You're in there with Alex Garcia. You're doing your own thing. What do the next few months look like?
Yeah, so important note here, from basically January to June to July, I'm working for Alex full time, building my agency on the side, but I'm capping my agency to an extent because I want to honor Alex. I don't want to be divided. I don't want to be stealing his time. So I always kind of told myself I'll only have X amount of clients or X amount of hours, whatever. And I also have a 1-year-old at the time, or newborn basically. So that was a big thing there. I was working a ton. I was probably working 70, 80, 90 hours a week. It was crazy for 7 months at the beginning of the year. And January, $17,000. February, 27-ish. March, I think we had a big spike. Actually, February might have been closer to 30. March, we had a big spike up into $45,000. And this is where it was like crazy. Okay. I pay off all debt. Like basically, like I freaking think I bought something stupid. I don't know. I was just like, this is nuts. This is crazy. And then what happened was I outkicked my coverage. I missed deliverables. I had an editor bail on me. My systems weren't dialed. So I had to give all of my clients a free month in April. Okay. And so we dropped all the way back down, probably like 20 grand. And then in May, my life changed because I started posting social media content. And I started making my personal brand. And I had always seen Alex's personal brand, bro. It was crazy. He would get DMs from, he'd text me like, hey, I got a call with Jake Paul today. He just DM'd me and wants to know if we could work together. I'm just like, what? That is crazy. He's like, yeah, dude. Yeah, me and freaking Gary Brecka got to talk today. He just DM'd me. He was like, dude, one of his favorite clothing brands was this company called Cherry. And he's like, I just want to work with Cherry. And so what he would do is he just made a post about how Cherry could improve their marketing. And then they DM'd him and was like, hey, will you do this for us? And that was his goal the whole time. He was like, yeah, I guess my Instagram post today is just going to be me calling out Cherry because I want to work with them. I saw the power of his personal brand. I was like, this is the craziest thing I've never seen anything more powerful than this. He could snap his fingers and make $50,000.
Do you think that for the people that are watching, do you think the personal brand is the most important thing that they could start to build?
Yeah, I think yesterday I was on a yacht and I asked probably someone who has a $500 million real estate portfolio and then probably about 200,000 followers on Instagram. I asked him if he had to get rid of one or the other, what would he get rid of? He said he would get rid of his real estate portfolio and keep the personal brand. Personal brand is by far the best asset you can have in 2026. If you said you could have a Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoins, you could have 5 houses, you could have, 1 million TikTok followers, you could have 100,000 YouTube subscribers, Instagram subscribers, or whatever other investment. I'm taking something in the Instagram YouTube world, right? It's so powerful because if you do it right, you can just make all of the money back, and it's an engine that's just going to continue to feed itself forever. So yes, it's by far the most important thing you'll be doing in 2026. And just to add to this, everyone thinks it's really hard. We go back to the concept of like, will this ever work for me? So therefore I don't stick with it long enough. Kind of how we talk about entrepreneurship, where there's this unguaranteed result versus a doctor where there is this guaranteed result. If you post on January 1st and you start at 300 views and you get 1% better every day through 2026, okay, just 1%, you will be averaging 11,400 views by December 31st, 2026. Okay, that is more than my baseline, and you will be in the top 0.1% of your niche. That's a phenomenal baseline. You'll probably have around 50,000 followers at that point. It is crazy how if you just incrementally improve daily and you keep posting content, it will change your life. It will actually change your life.
And if someone wants to do this going into 2026, I can already think of the objections, right? I don't have time. I'm going to wait. Once it gets to, April, May, I'll have more bandwidth. Like, what are the little things that someone, no matter where they're at in their life, could start doing so that they can increase the likelihood that they could stay with that? Maybe it's a daily practice. Maybe it's sacred hours. Like, what is the thing that they can do, or some of the things, so they can get this going?
Well, I think first you have to realize that this is the most important thing you can be doing right now. Like, you will not tell me, besides your faith or your family, I would even say, like, quit working out for a year. I didn't work out for a whole year while I was building my business and building my personal brand, which is crazy. I know you probably wouldn't agree with that. I know my ultra runners watching this are like, bro, get this guy to stop talking. But you probably have 2 to 3 years to build a personal brand before the digital real estate of a personal brand starts to dry up, because AI is going to flood socials. Okay. So we don't have much time. And my thought is, hey, your body can take a year break. Your personal brand might not be able to. So number one is you have to understand how important it is, because you will make time for what you believe is a priority. It's probably just a priority thing. Number two is you probably don't believe that it's possible. You probably don't actually think, you think that the algorithm hates you. You think that you have to get lucky. You have all these beliefs that are preventing you from seeing it as a guarantee, where if someone just came to you and said, hey, if you post every day for a year, you'll have 50,000 followers, you would just do it, right? Because it feels like a guarantee. But you don't believe that for some reason. So therefore, like, well, I don't know for sure, so why would I waste this time on a roll of the dice? That's actually not. It is as close to a guarantee as any skill there is, right? And then the third thing is, yes, sacred hours. Either start your day or end your day, block off an hour time slot, and record content during that time, one time a day. And then you have to get better at ideation, because you're going to run out of things to talk about. That's a skill set to grow on. Start on TikTok if you are worried about your high school friends following you on Instagram. That's what I did, because that's an insecurity block.
It cost me like a year.
Dude, same. It cost me about a year as well, right? So you just have to play these games with yourself to get the ball moving, and then you start to build. Dude, once I had freaking 50,000 followers on TikTok, I did not care what my aunt thought about my Instagram content. I'm like, sorry, Susie, like, I can now post whatever I want, and your opinion means a lot less to me. So just get the ball rolling. And I don't have a lot of time tactics, man. It's mostly perspective. Just, you have to believe that it is literally the most important thing that you can be doing for your business or your personal.
Yeah. Selling yourself on the idea and the urgency. And like, people don't want multivitamins, they want painkillers, right? And so it's like, how about this? If you don't do this, you're completely fucked, because we only have a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you have time to do this. You can make time, but you have none to waste.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people skip over the ideation and the iteration part, where you can get wrapped up into this, like, Mr. Beast 100 shitty videos. That's the framework I took, which allowed me to get to, I'm at like 50 posts now. But for the next 50, I'm not just going to make 50 random videos. Talk to me about ideation and iteration, and how you think about how you reflect on your content and make those 1% improvements.
Yeah, this is such a phenomenal question. I want to give a little bit of a backstory. One of the top 5 greatest marketers alive is Alex Schultz. He's the CMO for Meta, top 5 company. Yeah. Okay. He just wrote a book called Click Here. Fun fact, bro, it has 3 reviews on Amazon and Spotify whenever I started reading it. This guy, one of the greatest marketers in the world, wrote a book, and nobody's reading it because they all want to freaking crank Alex Hormozi's hog. All right. And if I'm just being honest, everyone wants to go read $100 million offers. Alex Schultz, freaking way better marketer than Alex Hormozi. No offense. Right. And no one's reading it. And he talks about 2 things. A great marketer has a North Star that they're very clear on, a goal that they are very clear on, that they can summarize into one sentence. This is what I was pressing you on earlier. We were doing a little content consulting, and he's like, well, I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to do this. I'm like, give me one sentence. Why? Because the inputs that you put into marketing, into content, are going to take you to different North Stars. Okay, if I do a little bit of this, it's going to take me this direction. If I do a little bit of this, it's going to take me this direction. If you are clear on your North Star, we can reverse engineer. And the second thing he says is no marketer leans into incremental changes, incremental improvements. Why is it that if we go to email, everyone's looking at the click-through rate, the headline, how do we A/B test this? How do we do that? If we go to paid ads, let me rehook this 10 times. Let me do this. If we go to a landing page, let me test this button color. Let me do this image color. And then we get to freaking content and it's like day in the life.
Here's what
And
I ate this week.
yeah, and it's like, dude, what? Like you're not even treating this on the same level, right? It's like imagine if there was a freaking professional sport and it's like the MLB, the NFL, and then imagine if just the NBA, everyone was just like doing doing drugs on the sideline and partying and like no one's working out. Everyone would be like, why is this a professional sport at all? Right? It's how a lot of people view content. It's like this fun little hobby and they don't see it as an actual form of really, really dialed marketing, but packaged into personality and video. Okay, so that's the prerequisite to your question. How do we actually ideate and then improve week over week? Number one, how do we actually ideate and improve week over week? Jackson told me I need to quit saying number one. I go number one, number two, number three. So I'm gonna restate this. How do we actually ideate week over week? We have to build out a few core ideation faucets. Okay, number one, it's a habit. We're just rolling with
Let's
it.
go.
Number one is Reddit. I think Reddit for your niche is gonna be killer. Go into Reddit, search by your top the top of the month, copy and paste just a whole conversation, throw it into ChatGPT and be like, yo, what are people talking about in this subreddit? Go make a piece of content about it. Because it's a proven result. That it's a proven conversation starter that's already happening in your niche. You're not starting from zero. Okay. There's going to be virality baked into that no matter what, because it is already happening. The second thing that you can pull from is making a secondary TikTok account. Only follow people in your niche. Save videos, but the trick here is you have to, if you see a video that you like, you have to click on the person's profile and make sure it's an outlier for them. Okay, you might see 20,000 views. That's so amazing. What if they average 100,000 views? Okay, that's not an outlier. Don't make that video.
Right.
Because if you average 1,000, that means your video is going to hit 200. Right. Number three, we want to analyze our internal data. And I do this, the easiest way to do this is through buzzwords. Go look at your last week, figure out which one was the most viral, and if you could summarize it into one buzzword. Okay, what was the concept here? What is the single word to describe this and be as specific and unique as possible? That's going to give you basically what a topic is, what the topic of the video is, and then you want to talk about it again the next week. So for example, I was looking at this podcast and his most viral video goes viral every single time. It is this girl talking about how she got a client to buy Super Bowl tickets with their Roth IRA. Okay, well, how do I summarize that into one word, one buzzword, one simple sentence? And I got to think about what resonated with the audience. It probably wasn't the Super Bowl. Maybe it was, but I don't think so. Is it the Roth IRA? No, probably not. Maybe. But you could probably summarize that into just creative tax strategies. Okay, well, that means next week, let me go show another crazy example of a tax strategy. How I got a Rolls Royce by buying Section 8 housing, right? That might be equally as viral as the how I got a Super Bowl ticket with my Roth IRA. And you innovate that way. And then the last thing is go find 5 competitors in your niche. Go find 5 competitors outside of your niche. Pull the topics that your niche competitors are talking about, and then pull the packaging that your non-niche competitor, I guess they're not competitors, your non-niche creators and inspiration are talking about. So let's say I like gardening, so I'm going to go follow 5 gardeners over here, but my niche is sales. Maybe the gardeners over here are doing something really cool. They're doing a new format. They're doing like a new camera angle, a new series. All the salespeople over here are doing a podcast style. Let me go freaking take this cool format that the podcast people are doing. Let me go talk about what the salesperson just talked about. Put them together. And now you're innovating inside of your niche. And you're now a thought leader. You're now, people are now copying you. And then you go and you do it again. And no one has that ability to innovate and ideate like you because no one knows where you're taking the combos from. Everyone else is iterating, following Alex Ramosi, Dan Martell, Cody Sanchez, Matt Gray, over and over and over and over. And you're saying, okay, sure, I'll go listen to what Dan Martell might say, but I'm also going to go pull from this fashion girl that I really like, Maddie G Styles, bro. She's my favorite. She does some green screen. She shows people how to freaking dress for fall. She just only fashion for men. I will take her and I will be inspired by some of her concepts and I'll move it over to content. Right?
Your niche.
Yeah, to my niche. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. So that's how I ideate, and then you improve week over week by thinking about we call it untangling data. You improve your content by untangling data. So you have your 7 videos of the week. Let's say you're posting every day. You need to break it into 4 things: my hook, my format, my topic, and my illustration or the way I communicated it. Let me break it down. The hook. Literally, what was the hook? What was the psychological principle behind the hook? Did I yell at them? Did I give them a timeline, whatever it was? What was the format? This is the visual way that a video comes across the screen. Is it a green screen? Is it a podcast style? Is it a whiteboard? Is it a day in the life? Is it a top-down angle where the camera's up here and then I'm just talking to it? What is the format? Okay. What is the topic? We already talked about the idea. Can we summarize it into a single word or a phrase? And then the fourth thing is the illustration or the way we talk about it, right? So, did you use a metaphor? Did you use a story? Did you use a statistic? Did you use a quote from somebody? Right? And so you untangle the data of a viral video and then you test them each the next week. And then through week over week, you get more and more data. Okay, we untangled all 4 of these. 2 of them actually sucked the next week. So that means the reason that first video went viral was not because of those 2 things. It must have been these 2 things, right? Okay, well, let's keep these, dump these. And then next week, get better. This is why creators actually get better the longer they make content. I have a client, she's been with me the longest, and she's growing the fastest. She's adding 100,000 followers a month because she's let me untangle data longer for her, right? So every week, I'm getting more and more insights, more and more insights, more and more insights. And now she is printing, bro. We never miss. We almost never miss. We'll still test, but we never miss because we have so much evidence and so much proof on what works.
What do you say to the person that gets on the phone with you and they want it to happen overnight? Like, let's unbundle why it doesn't happen overnight and what is the timeline. I mean, whenever you're selling someone on doing this, let's say they're already sold on doing it, right? A lot of folks run into like, I want to be famous by month 1. Like, what is the timeline and what do people get wrong about this type of game when they're thinking about the duration of it?
Yeah, I would rather, I've said this online and I agree with this. I would rather have schizophrenia than struggle with creator comparison.
Oh man, wait, say it one more time.
It's just a crazy sentence. I would rather have schizophrenia than struggle with creator comparison because here's why. Creator comparison is 10 times worse than like our everyday comparison because of survivor bias. Imagine if God was like, I'm only going to put the most successful people in your life whenever you go to Hy-Vee. And so you pull up to the local Walmart and there's just Lambos, G-Wagons, Rolls Royces, and you pull up with your little Honda Civic. That is it. That's what an algorithm is. It's only showing you the best of the best because the best of the best win the algorithm, right? It's survivor bias. So you start comparing yourself to who you're seeing on social media. Well, guess what? You're only seeing people who are already good, right? Because they get more reach and they're now reaching you, right? If you look through 10 videos, maybe 1 is going to be someone with 100 likes. The other 9 are all these people who are professional content creators. And so you start comparing yourself and you see this and you have no idea what these people have went through in the past. No idea. And some of these creators, man, it took them so long. It took, I think, Jake Paul or Logan Paul, like one year and 9 months to get to 1 million followers. And he was like the fastest of some of these big names. I saw some carousel and it was like Joe Rogan, it took 13 years. And then I kept swiping and everyone else was like 5, 6, 7, 3 years, 2 years. And then Logan Paul was number 1, the fastest on this list. And it was 1.9, 1 year and 9 months. And you want it in a couple months because you saw this one person who might have blown up. But then here's my second thought to this is what you grow is what your audience is, or the way you grow and what you grow on is what your audience will always be. And so if I go viral on one video, my audience will only know me for that video. If I stack my growth day over day over day over day, I now have a more well-rounded kaleidoscope following. They now know me for different things. It's not, I made one video about how to make a medium rare steak and I got 100,000 followers, and then tomorrow I want to go talk about something else, right? If I stack followers, 1,000 followers here, 1,000 followers here, 1,000 followers here, then they care about more of what I talk about. So you actually don't want to speed your growth because a sped up growth is lower quality. A more steady, gradual compounding growth is going to be, it's like building a foundation on cement rather than sand.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my thought, is like, you actually don't want it fast. And here's my last thing. Your life will change with just 10,000 quality followers, 1,000 quality followers. You know what I mean? So like, why do you want the number? Why do you want the number?
It's such a trap, man. The vanity metrics. Like, I think I've done a really good job about tapering my own expectations and trying to make sure that the goal is the inputs and the goal is the growth, but not the views or the followers, right? And I have a friend, my roommate Luke, he's building an app. It's called Bible Break. I use it every single day. Instead of scrolling on social media, after 10 minutes of social media scrolling, it forces you to go read the Bible. And every single verse, you get a minute, right? But he's asking me in our, where we co-work, he's always coming over and he's like, how do I go viral? This and that. I'm like, you must not attach your value to the virality. And it's such a, I understand why people think about it that way. But it's something that I had to keep reminding our people in PGA, right? They're like always trying to get the biggest view count, things like that. And it's just not the game. The timeline isn't correct and the metrics aren't correct. So what are some of the metrics that you look at, especially for an earlier creator or a founder or a person that wants to start taking their personal brand seriously in the beginning? What are the metrics that are important?
So good. Great question. Let's do a quick exercise first. The difference between virality and valuable followings. Would you rather, let's say you're about to give a speech. Okay. You're about to give a 5-minute speech about the most important thing in the world to you. Let's say sales. You have to give a 5-minute speech on sales. Would you rather talk to Michigan Stadium, the big house? It's the biggest arena in the United States. I think it seats like 130,000. Okay, you're going to be front and center, 50-yard line. But the people in the crowd, 130,000 12-year-olds from Ghana and Zimbabwe. All right?
Shout out to my Ghanaians.
Yeah, and Zimbabweans. Would you rather give your speech to them or this room right here? You know, it's probably 200 square feet full of 10 CEOs of Fortune 500 companies.
I would take the latter.
I would take a ladder as well. You know what I mean? And so many people, it's like, you don't even know what depending on what you attract with that view, like, why would you want that? Like, you just see the number and you think it's so cool, but you don't know what the view represents. Not all views or followers are created equally, right? Mm-hmm. Some of them are Fortune 500 CEOs. Mm-hmm. Some of them are 12-year-olds from Zimbabwe. You know what I mean? And so virality is literally, like, views and just virality is just such a bad metric, you know, for your goal. You know, it depends on what action do you want to take. If your goal is literally just a follower count, then sure, run it up. Do whatever you need.
So many of these big followers, they're broke as fuck. Like, I met a few people in Austin that have millions of followers. They don't make any money. And it's like, oh my gosh, what a crappy place to be. I'm really glad that I have proof of concept here, because I started posting, and one of the first things that kicked off my increased posting on Instagram was I documented me doing an Ironman with no training. And I had always wanted to start doing a series or whatever, and for like a year and a half, I just kind of overthought it. A couple of my friends, laughed at me like a year ago, and I was like, F this, I'm done. Or at least there was a halter. Mm-hmm. Built back up the courage, and then I was like, I ran the Moab 240 last year, and I didn't I documented it all, but I didn't really post it, and I wish I would have been able to go back on my Instagram and have that, So I was like, I'm not going to go past this one. We did the series. One of my buddies helped me, and we put it all together, and I didn't sell myself on it going viral. I was like, if it gets 1,000 views, I'm happy. If I just do this series and I just post 6 times in 10 days, I'm thrilled. I achieved the outcome. Lo and behold, 1, 2, 3, 4 videos. A couple of them got like 3, 4, 5K. Next one shoots up to like 1 million. And I'm running the Ironman. It was the one that I posted beforehand. And my buddy pulls me to the side while I'm doing the running part. And he's like, by the way, you're going super viral on Instagram right now. And I was like, yeah.
That's gotta feel so good.
Yeah, it was super.
It feels good.
Yeah, and it felt great. He's like, dude, you're at 50,000 views and counting. Like the people are counting on you. Next one got like 100K views. Awesome. But if I look at my followers, where I just crossed 4,000 just now, I would say that probably like 1,200 of those followers are just like Ironman people from Sweden, or just chicks from Sweden, which is, it's cool, but I don't have anything for them, right? And so when you think about that exercise, it's like I'm glad they're following along, but are they going to resonate with the stuff I really want to talk about? Probably not. And so now that my sales content and some of my podcast stuff, they're averaging just a few thousand views, it's a higher quality follower. It's a higher quality view. And now the people that I posted the podcast and it got 50 views on YouTube, but I got 4 DMs and they said, this literally changed my life and how I think about XYZ. And it matters so much more, but it's 50 views. And I get these comments. They're like, how do you only have 10 views, bro? Like, this is nuts. And I'm starting to see some of that, those seeds. And so I'm trying to lean into that some more.
Well, I wanna like almost amplify how dangerous it can be to misalign your following, right? So let's just say you would have made the Ironman content and it would have been, instead of 1,200, imagine if it was like 15,000 people from Sweden. Okay. Then what happens is we can get something where we actually start developing ghost followers, and this will kill your account. Okay. I want to double down on what you basically just said. If you would have posted those videos and let's say you got 15,000 people from Sweden, you can develop a really, really bad channel. There's this concept called ghost followers. So what happens is if you attract a following on something that you don't talk about anymore. Okay, on Instagram, it's a follower first platform, which means if I post, it's going to send it to my followers. Let's say you want to talk about sales, but you have 15,000 followers from Sweden who care about running. It's going to send that sales post to them, and that's the first testing batch to figure out if this is a good video. They're not going to watch that video. They're going to scroll. You're going to be like, oh, now what I actually care about, I'm scrolling. That then tells the algorithm this is a bad video, right? Then it doesn't get moved on to more non-followers, and it stays at 500 views, 600 views. I had an example where I was working with this guy, and he was in the Bitcoin space, and he had 22,000 followers, but 19,000 of them were from his modeling days. I was like wondering for so long, like, why can I not crack 1,000 followers? This is a great piece of content. What is going on? And it was because whenever it would get sent to his followers, none of them cared about this. None of them cared about this. And this is why you get accounts that might have 200,000 followers, but they're getting 2,000 to 3,000 views. It's because they've built their following and then changed their content potentially on what they're actually talking about. And then it gets sent to their followers. The followers don't engage. It says it's a bad video. And then they wonder if they need to restart their account or not because it sucks so bad and it's not getting sent out. So you want to be actually very, very, very thoughtful on the content you're putting out, because you can build a ghost follower audience, which will basically ruin your channel.
It's a dangerous game. What do you say to the person that might have done that?
Yeah, so if you potentially have ghost followers on your account, what I mean by that is people who are just not engaging with your content. Maybe you have 10,000 followers, but you're only getting 500 views. You need to figure out if you need to restart an account or not. The way that I figure this out is how good is my non-follower view percentage? Okay, non-follower view percentage. Let me go into my most recent videos, my first 5 to 10. If my non-follower view percentage, it'll be a little circle and it'll say like, 33%. Yeah. If my non-follower view percentage is above 60% or 50%, then I'm good. I can probably grow my way out of this. It'll be a pain in the ass because you have to get new followers to outseed or succeed your old followers. That means I have to get up to 21,000 followers to crack my channel, because 10,000 followers are from what I don't want. So I have to have 11 versus 10. But some channels are actually dead because they're no longer getting non-follower reach. So you'll never be able to grow your channel beyond what you already have because it's basically killed it. You're not reaching new people to follow you to outweigh the poor follower quality you have that you brought in earlier. So first things first, figure out what your non-follower view percentage is. If it's above 50%, you're probably fine. But even if it is above 50%, you might need to still make a new account. You have to figure out how big your following is. If it's 10,000 and you're adding only 1 follower a day, you got a long time before you get more new followers compared to your old one. But if you have, for me, I had 1,500 followers from friends and family, and I was adding a couple hundred a day. So I was like, okay, it'll take me 3 weeks to have 4,000 followers where my new followers are now outweighing my old followers.
Yeah.
So I didn't make a new one. I was willing to push through. But that's what you got to think about whenever it comes to starting a new account, because you've cooked your account.
Whenever you're thinking about, or whenever you're working with some of these big clients, right? What are you seeing that is working really, really well right now, today, in short form video? I'm sure there's a billion. I'm sure there's a couple things, but like, and what are some of the things that are fun to you?
Yeah. Content that is working right now in December 2025 is clone format, which this is where it's the same person talking to themselves. I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah. I was thinking about that as you were talking.
Clone format's really good. We probably only have a couple weeks left of that before it starts to get overplayed. Number 2, series are great to turn views into followers. So series had a moment, and then they died, and now they're back. So day 1 of doing X, day 2 of doing whatever. Try to give value throughout the series. Don't make it always about you, right? Because sure, people care a little bit about you, but they care more about themselves. So if I'm going to do a day 1 to the Austin Marathon, I'm also going to be giving a little bit of advice kind of sprinkled in throughout it.
Sure.
Right. I'm seeing those 2 things win. Number 3, green screens are so good for beginners. Like, just don't do the classic talking head where you just hold a microphone and talk. Go do a green screen, right? Green screen it, just have like one image behind you and just talk about it, right? A few other things. Substack is really powerful right now. This is the next platform. If you're not on Substack, get on Substack right now, because it is a newsletter where you capture emails, so you can own your audience, but it has discovery baked into it. That's never been done before. It's never been done before where we can capture emails and have discovery baked in. So don't sleep on Substack. Last thing I'm seeing is I think live streams for educational creators is going to be the move. So this is actually no longer what's working right now. Hermosi's doing it a little bit, but I think it's going to be what's really powerful going into 2026. Live streams for educational creators. So what this might literally be is you live streaming a sales call and just like getting approval from the person or something like that, or a training.
That would be nuts. I could do that.
What I want to do is I want to live stream ideation sessions for clients. You know, I have a morning where it's me and my team in the office. Let's get a couple cameras up and just workshop it.
And this is like IG Live, TikTok Live.
Yep. Dude, even I think it's going to move on to like Twitch, and like it's going to be competing with gaming. So
really, that's a pretty big claim.
Yeah. I think this is going to, especially in the age of AI, this is going to be a huge thing. And it's basically a baked in webinar if you think about it. So one of our strategies going into 2026 is I want to do 2 live streams a week, which is basically 2 webinars that aren't webinars at all, because it's just fun. It's live streams. It's, you know, I'm not pitching at the end, but the trust that gets built is crazy.
Yeah. With so let's dive into this, and I'll use this a bit selfishly, but for someone who has an idea similar, they can just apply it, right? So I've got 60 days, and I'm going to have a bunch of people do their first marathon in Austin, and I really want it to be sick. It means a lot to me. Even if I don't make a single dime from it, I'm already in the hole like $6,000 because I paid for like 30 people's marathon. But I really want it to be cool, and I want to document it and look back on it. I think it's going to be awesome. If I'm doing this series thing, right? Let's say it's, you know, day 1 of getting 50 people to run their first marathon, 50 business owners and sales professionals to run their first marathon. You're saying I kick it more to the audience where it's like you-based stuff. And I know I can do that through, here's why you should run a marathon. Here's what it does for your mindset. Here's what it does for your belief systems. But whenever I'm doing that series content, is that just literally you don't skip a day, or can it be like day 1, day 3, day 5? Walk me through like what that looks like and how do you blend it in with the rest of the content that I might need to make to create the whole pie?
Yeah, it's really good. Well, one, you can for sure skip days. You definitely don't have to go sequential. The general concept here is that they can just come to your profile and just see more, right? So maybe you get 2 days, 3 days kind of stacked up, and then you can go day 7, day 9, whatever. Next is a really interesting creative way that you could actually just, let me give you a couple angles here to maybe just think about how you could really expand the creativity on the series. What if day 1 of using sales call tactics to get business owners to run their first marathon?
That's what I do.
And then
I've got the footage too.
Boom, there it is. And
I've got me closing them in person live.
Yes. And then there's value for the salesperson watching, because they're seeing how you are actively using sales tactics rather than just you telling a story.
Bro, that's so creative, bro.
Right. So that's what you got to be
It's like
thinking.
you do this for a living.
Yeah, it's crazy. You would think. That would be one angle. I think another angle would be anytime you can raise the stakes like crazy. So one of my friends has a fantasy football league, and the losers have to swim across like the Shark Highway in LA. I don't even know what that means, but it's like the most shark infested water. And I'm like, that should have been a series. Like, just make content and be updating people throughout the whole time. So make the stakes crazy high. Put something wild at the end. Like, you know, and if I don't, I'm running the marathon twice. You know,
or if I don't, I'm running a 300-mile race.
Yeah, do something crazy. Do something nuts. Yeah, I think that's where you get like a really good series, and then always let people know, let the CTA at the end be like, also follow along for more, because series drive the most, what I'm seeing right now, the most view to follower ratio, because people want to come back for more. They want to come back.
Yeah. I love clicking on a good series.
Yeah,
staying in tune with it. Like a couple of them, like a weight loss series. Man, I love watching people dropping some weight, or whatever. Right? And you know, the guys who do the luxury Airbnb, I forget the name.
Yeah, no, I already talking about
the rocks.
Yeah, take you through the whole process. But that's a couple concepts there. I kind of forget.
So live is going to be big.
Yeah,
live streaming, etc. View to followers for the series. And what do you? I'm curious. Like, you probably work with a spectrum of people. Some of them are just really, really good on camera, just by nature of who they are. They have the charisma, etc. And you probably work with some people who are like a cardboard box.
For sure.
First, like, how do you help people get over the nerves practically and improve with that 1% improvement? Because it could be just the content itself, but it could be like how they show up. Like, what are you seeing that actually moves the needle for people and they get better over time?
Yeah, it's really good. A couple principles to get over your nerves when it comes to talking on camera. Number one, read The Inner Game of Tennis. This is a book about getting your subconscious dialed and then letting it run freely. And so it's like, don't overthink. Like, some of the best tennis players, this is the concept that you think it's about tennis, it's actually about mental performance. The best tennis players, whenever they had their best streaks, say that they weren't even thinking. They're just having fun. And the whole point is you do the prep, and then you just let loose and you just have fun. So there's got to be a point where you've done all the prep work, that whenever the camera comes on, you don't have to feel like you're still doing the prep work, that you're doing the training, that you're executing the drills that you did in practice. It should feel flowing. You're just kind of doing whatever you want. Number two,
it's a volume thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It's like getting so confident in the work that you've put in that if you weren't allowed to have rational thought, that your subconscious would take over and you do well. Like right now, I am not thinking what I'm saying. This is all of the last year of learning and inputting and communicating.
Sure.
Then I would say print off a picture of your best friend and put them behind the camera. Their face. Pretend like you're talking to them.
Yeah, that's what Tim Ferriss did to write his 4-Hour Workweek.
So good.
He just thought about his two friends and literally composed an email with their emails in the thing and wrote the book inside of that little email composition.
Yes, bro. Yes. And then say what you would say to them, even if it's the freaking R word. All right, just say it. All right, just say it, bro. And then you can decide if you want to not post it or not. Because I'm not saying you should just always post your darkest thoughts.
Right.
But yeah,
some people go a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay, so you hit that 40K month, right? Things started really changing. New financial position, etc. But then you said the personal brand, you started building your own personal brand, and then it went nuclear.
Yep.
Walk me through the journey. You said it was from May till now, so we've got about 6-7 months of
Dude, we were just gonna let it slide, bro. We were just gonna let it slide.
6-7 months of personal brand building for yourself. I'm curious and there's a bunch of different angles we could take with this. What is different about doing it for yourself versus others? And then I'd love to hear about some of the bigger takeaways of doing it and what it's led to.
Yeah, so the difference between doing it for yourself, building a personal brand for yourself versus building a personal brand for someone else is theirs is always going to get priority. So I'm going to pour resources, time, strategy, because they're a client. It's my obligation to fulfill that for them. And what ironically sometimes happens means I come to my content caring less, which is sometimes very freeing, and you actually get better content out of it.
Right. Flip a negative to a positive.
Exactly. It's like, okay, I have 10 minutes to record. Let me just press play and just see what happens. Sometimes that's my best content. Number two is for other people. I think um, you have to have there's 6 pillars to content. There's strategy. This is understanding top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Are we trying to go viral? We're trying to get views. We're trying to get conversions, and then balancing that, updating that every week. Okay. Then there's ideation. What are the topics that I'm picking? Right. Then there's scripting and storyboarding. So scripting if I want it word for word, or bullet pointing it out. And this is the most important one for what you're talking about right now. There's talent management. Okay. I, with my clients, have to treat them like they are an actor or an actress on set. I need to manage their talent. How do they perform best? Do I need to get a videographer to them? Do they want a script? Do they want a storyboard? Do they like mornings? Do they want to call and then they rip? Or do they want to just me turn the script over, teleprompter, they press play and they go for it? Do we need to batch in a month? Do we need to set up a call and I just tell them to put the camera on and we're just going to talk on the phone and I'll get it out of them, right? Yeah. Talent management is one of the 6 pillars of content. Energy management is what you could call this if it's for yourself, right? And then the last 2 are editing and then growth tactics. Growth tactics would be trial reels, stuff like that. So,
oh man, we haven't even got to trial reels.
No, not the trial reels with the sharks.
Oh man. Okay. And so, with your personal brand, what has been awesome about it, and have there been any things that are not awesome about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's changed my life. Like I'll never have to worry about money again with it, you know?
Wait, let's just pause right there. What a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, how many things can you do over a 6-month period and say, I'll never have to worry about money again?
Yeah.
Except for personal brand.
No.
Not very many.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially with nothing up front. Like if I had like $100,000, maybe I could go do something. Yeah. But with just effort.
So when you say you don't have to worry about money ever again, can you expand on that?
Yeah, like I wanted to make, like revenue was tracking a little bit behind in December, not a huge deal. Or I know it was bad in November and I was like, man, what happened? So I was like, I'm just going to go DM some people that have like DM'd me. And I just made like $11,000 2 nights ago. Just by like, people were interested. I have consulting and I just knew like there's so much trust built up with them that if I need to go make money, I can just like go talk to some people, help them. I'm not like necessarily, trying to always just be like sell. But if I can help somebody and then if they actually like, yo, that was super helpful, you got anything else? Then yeah, I send them to my consulting program. So that's just an example. Another example was like, there was this person that I really thought I could help on social media. Just send them a cold message. They had already been following me for a long time. I literally closed a $10,000 a month retainer off of 4 DMs. No sales call. 4 DMs. And then it got upsold to 15, probably $15,000, probably 2 messages later. So, and it's the power of content.
Right? 6 DMs because they had your organic following creates $180,000 a year retainer.
Yeah. Just like that. Which is crazy.
What an absolute like showstopper, right? Yeah. Like that's you can click away from the podcast right now and just go start building your personal brand.
Yes.
So you never have to worry about money again, right? What else is cool?
Well, and I want to add to this. Let's say worst case scenario, we get in a lawsuit and I can never be a business owner again. You hold a gun to my head. I can never, do my content agency or consult. I now have basically the leg up in any interview for a 6-figure job for the rest of my life. Any marketing job I want in the city of Omaha, I can probably get because they're going to be able to, in the interview process, there's 100 people, name one person who has been educating people in marketing enough to have 100,000 followers across 2 platforms. You know what I mean? So that's the other thing is worst case scenario, as long as I don't let my expenses get too high, I can always at least go get a 6-figure job forever. I think because of my personal brand.
Yeah, same thing for me with sales. Yep. Like I literally have this written down on my notes from when I quit my sales job at the end of March this year. I wrote down no matter which way my business goes from this point, even if I completely explode and blow up, I'll never be able to make less than $30,000 a month again, because I can just walk into a car dealership and just take it over.
Yes.
Or I can just go and get on some sales team and just become number one, because I've already done that for so long.
Yeah, you have the skill.
And it's not even a question, right? And so whenever I start to think about the future and whether I will succeed or not in the long run, the benchmark and the hedge is that note to myself, where it's like, no matter what,
Yes.
I'll never make less than $250,000 a year because of that skill.
Dude, so good. And then so that's, you talked about the best and the worst. The worst thing about a personal brand is I mean, you have to really be secure with who you are. You know, you get it almost, I hate to say this, but you get like analysis paralysis, and then it actually prevents you from posting content because you want it to be perfect. You ran out of ideas, and then there's a lot of shame that comes with that. I'm the content guy, and I've only posted 2 times this week. What am I even doing? And I know this is like some woo-woo, more like emotional stuff here, but it's something that probably eats up, 10% of my day is my relationship with content. Wanting to do it really well, but not having time, but then not posting, and then feeling shame, and then it's like, well, who cares if I miss another day or whatever, and then I don't have this idea. People were yelling at me in the comments about this. People want this video didn't get as much views, but I really want to talk about that. But so do I do it or do I not? Kind of a cringier, worst case scenario. But it is something that,
Yeah, well, there are trade-offs, right?
yeah,
So you have to deal with that downside.
it's not that's like such a small downside.
Yeah,
We're able to make like $11,000 overnight.
There's zero downside to building a personal brand,
Yeah.
right? There's a small, but
Well, and you got to think like this is more long term. If I ever were to grow more and more, is like privacy. Like that's actually happening.
have you been noticed in Nebraska yet?
Not in Nebraska,
But other places.
other places.
Really?
Yeah, I've been noticed in Miami. And
I noticed you when we flew into San Diego.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, another thing is like what just happened last night is I was at this party, and there's probably this networking party. There's probably 300 people there. People just pounding me for consulting. I just basically gave like 4 hours of just consulting last night, and that's fine. I like talking about it. But yeah, you just get snagged for moments like that because people they know you, even though you might not know them, so they'll grab you, like, Briar, and I'm like, oh, what's your name?
Yeah.
What do you think I should do here? Like, I have no idea. Like, who are you? Who are you?
What's your name?
Exactly. But I literally sound like such a scumbag right now. These are like literally like 2% problems.
Yeah.
It's like not that big of a deal at all.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
There are things to consider, but it's like, yeah, it must be nice to have those,
No,
right?
it's,
So
yeah.
back to the cool stuff. What else has been really cool? I mean, you're probably getting DM'd from a bunch of awesome people.
Yeah, dude, dude. So I'm a dirty run, freaking promiscuous woman for reality TV.
Yeah.
I love reality TV, bro. Injected into my veins. Okay, all of it.
Give me an example.
Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge. I try to stay away from Love Island.
Bro,
any of it. Summer House, Vanderpump Rules, bro. All of it.
My friend connected me with like one of the casting people for Love Island, and he was trying to like,
Dude,
put me.
there you go, bro.
Absolutely.
There you go, man. Hey,
What is it about reality TV that you like so much?
I love drama.
Okay.
I love drama. But then, dude, freaking me and my wife sit down at the dinner table and say, hey, what tea do we got to spill today?
Right.
No, I'm joking. We try not to do that too much. But I love drama. But I mean, a lot of those are competition shows.
Sure.
And so there's like strategy behind it.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, yeah, like 3 people from reality TV. I have a call on Tuesday with one of my favorite reality TV stars. I'm just going to help them with content. I'm just going to meet cool people. CEO of the shirt that you're wearing right now DM'd me a little bit and was able to consult him. He gave me free gift cards. One of my favorite clothing companies, Represent. George Heaton follows me, which is really cool. Yeah, you just get connections, dude. It's just, there's a lot of cool stuff. And then also, like, being from Omaha, there's not a lot of ambitious people or creative people, and so the concept of you're the sum average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. I can't surround myself with 5 savages in Omaha. What I can do is leverage my personal brand to go get group chats with 5 savages, which sometimes having a personal brand will help you get into those group chats, into those Slack channels and stuff like that. So that's even better, because then let's say I just need one quick question answered that's going to move my business forward, freaking $100,000. I can just throw it in, and they're going to like would have normally charged, thousands of dollars for this quick little consulting, because these people are savages, but because they know me and they respect my content, they're like, oh dude, yeah, let's hop on a call real quick. And I just get free game all the time. So, yeah, it's crazy.
With personal branding, right? Like, I'm in the coaching industry in the info space, and so I meet a lot of coaches, and I just went to an event about events, right? And like, I don't even know how to introduce myself to like my friends and family back home. They're like, "What do you do?" Like, it's just a pyramid scheme. Like, you scam people and you're on the internet, but
So yeah,
how do you make money, right? But like, I'm in the info space pretty heavily, and there's a lot of personal brand people, right? And I don't think you're in that.
No, I'm for sure in that. I'm a content guy that talks about content.
Okay, so like, if I were to ask you how bullish you are on more people starting their personal brand, and how, even though we're going to be late if we don't start in the next 3 years, we're still early, right? Like, the way I look at remote, I'll give you an example. Remote sales. Everybody and their mother wants to get into remote sales right now. It's the new business opportunity on the street, and you know that because one of your clients is really big in the space. But sometimes I think, man, like, it's getting saturated. But then if someone were to ask me that has my same personality, I would be like, you have to get into how to get remote sales. Like, it's the thing. I would do that. If someone asked me, like, what would you do if you were 2 years ago? I would do the exact same thing. I would get into sales. I would go climb the ladder, and I would make a bunch of money. And so I guess my question is, like, what would you say to the person, besides the whole, like, you have 3 years left thing? Are you bullish on people becoming content creators and more coaches and more people online? How do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I think like the good news is there is it's not saturated because of niches. Dude, we saw this guy with 27,000 followers in the pickleball rehab niche. How to heal from pickleball injuries.
Yeah. I have a buddy in Miami who does knee rehab. It's called Kneehab. And he's printing, dude. He's printing.
It will, whatever. Yeah, sure. It might be oversaturated if you just want to be a fitness creator. Okay, get out of my face. Don't ever talk to me ever again if you want to be a fitness creator. If that's all you say. I'm joking. That pisses me off. But yeah, like, whatever it is, there is always going to be room, because there's niches. It's like, oh yeah, hey, sorry, starting a business is getting oversaturated. What? Entrepreneurship is oversaturated. Bro, what? You could start, you get to make your own market, right? You can invent a social media market right now if you were creative enough. You know what I mean? So oversaturation is not real online. The second reason it's not real is because I'm not over exaggerating whenever I say 99%. If I had to argue, it's probably like maybe 3 out of 1,000 people are actually willing to put in the work, right? So then you could say everyone's starting. Oversaturation dies real quick whenever it comes to year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4.
I think the stats on a podcast, which I think this will be podcast number 20 for me.
Yeah, let's go.
Like 19 or whatever. I think it's like, if you make 20 podcasts, you're in the top 1% of podcasts.
Yes.
And it's like, okay. One of the things that I've done a great job of building as a skill set for myself is endurance. And I'm talking to you about how to overlap that with the marathon thing, and then the sales and business and et cetera, and the follow-up game. But like, yeah, most people just aren't willing to put one foot in front of the other on the same exact thing for so long.
Yes.
I have a friend, a good friend of mine, and I really respect him a lot. His name is Reed Olson. And I think he's probably sitting at like 3.5 million followers. And I met him like this year, and he was at like 1 million. He's doing like 500 million views a month, like absolute nuke town. And he, a lot of people would see that and they're like, oh my gosh, this, that, and the third. But for 16 months, he posted content every single day and didn't make one penny.
Yeah.
And he said when he averages it out, he makes like 20 cents an hour. For like, so far, it'll go up, and it's going up fast. But like, who's willing to do that, right? Everybody wants the 3.5 million followers, and my average view is 1 million, right? But like, are you willing to suffer and do the pain and the doubt and overcome all of it for 16 months in a row? Probably not, right? So
No.
to your point, like, so many people are not willing. And I think that's why when it comes to like giving away free sauce, it's like some people think like, oh, keep the sauce, bro. But it's like, who gives a shit? No one's going to do it anyways. But for the people, for the 3 out of 1,000 that will, here it is.
And then it's like, if you are scared to give away free sauce online, it's because you're not innovative enough. Because like I give free sauce away and then I'm inventing new sauce a month later.
Yeah.
And I'm giving it away. It's going to take them 3 to 6 months to apply it anyways. I just invented the next format because I'm at the cutting edge of the actual game.
You're just in the kitchen.
Bro, I'm the one that's making the sauce, dude. Yeah, I'm going to give it away and I'm going to go make some better sauce and give it away.
You want some more sauce?
Yeah.
I got you.
Keep going. Yeah. And then the other thing is I can give away all the sauce I need because of counter positions. What I mean by that is I would just make myself unique and target a new audience, right? Or they should make themselves unique and target a new audience. So like, okay, if anybody let's just say theoretically someone actually worked as hard as me and applied all of the sauce that I ever got out and they all became content strategists, content creators. And there was thousands of them, basically 1,000 Briars running around. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to counter position. I'm going to be the content strategist for freaking knee rehab. You know what I mean? And then boom, I have $1 million business there. You know what I mean? So it's just like, just give the sauce away and then just counter. Do we have access to the whole world? The whole world. You can find your freaking pocket, bro. Just find a pocket. There's no competition. Is not real. It's not real.
Yeah, bro. It's so funny because like in my corner of the world, right? Like everybody and their mother is becoming a sales coach, and I've resisted the temptation for a while. But instead of resisting the temptation, what I'm now doing and talking through with you is developing a counter position, because my buddy Johnny just invented like everybody and their mother just doing these objection handling videos.
Yes.
He paved the way. Everyone does the same fucking format, and it drives me nuts, right? But my counter position is actually, I don't want to teach people about objection handling because it's only one part of it. Everybody wants that. But then it's like, there's so much that happens before the call. There's so much that happens after the call. And now it's like, I put my other 2 cents on it, right? And so counter positioning, just so I can make sure that I understand the definition, it doesn't mean opposite positioning. It just means different positioning.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's finding a gap in the market.
Yeah.
Amazon counter positioned against the delivery systems by starting with books. And then it expanded to CDs and movies. And then it took over the world. You counter position so you can spike into a market and then you grow out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vans counter positioned into the shoe industry by not challenging Nike, not challenging Adidas, not challenging whoever. It's like, oh, we're going to make shoes for skaters. Just pop in, break into the niche, and then you can expand a little bit. You can expand your TAM, total addressable market, and go from there.
Yeah, there's so many huge, like you said, there's no such thing as competition, right? And like, yeah, there's red oceans and there's blue oceans, but like there's so many fucking people, man.
Well, yeah.
You don't have to serve 100% of the market, dude. You need like a sliver.
Bro, competition only matters if you're doing something that is like insanely big. Like you're trying to build the next AI LLM. Like there's competition between Claude. Yeah. Well, even then, yeah, that's a good one. Even then, like there's competition between like Anthropic and Claude and ChatGPT. Like that's real. Like that's cutthroat. Like if I was jumping into there, I'd be like, I'm just gonna do this for like freaking elementary teachers. I'm gonna go make my own thing. Like they can go for war, and some people are cut out to go to war, and like they should go for the $1 trillion
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like they should like some people, if you have the right idea and you're that type of person, you should go for the $1 billion company. But I still want to become a billionaire one day, but like I'm not trying to compete yet. Like that. Like one day I'm gonna take down Palantir, but not yet. Right. No. I didn't mean it. I'm joking.
Walk me through the playbook, right? So you're doing content for all these people, come up with a strategy. What's next for you? And talk to me about your info side and your coaching and where you want that to go, and then we can talk about the ultimate play. Yeah. Or, as far as you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm down to talk about all of it. So right now the content agency, basically short form content, it's just everything you can dream of to master Instagram, TikTok, trial reels, all that stuff. It's done for you. We want to get that up to 1.5 to 2 million a month.
2 million a year?
Yeah, 2 million a year, sorry. Yep. So 150 K a month would be the dream. That's where we probably feel like I can give a great service without it getting really diluted and like low quality. So probably chill there. I have my consulting side or the info side, which is It's low ticket. We don't want to run this up a ton. I'm not trying to scale that to the moon. I want to cap that at probably 50K a month, which is we've hit that a couple times, and I'll probably just stay there throughout the year. This is just really helping people. I was telling you, get the skill set to get to 100,000 followers. Any niche, right? It could be a product, it could be a service. We have a girl who sells bralettes with crystals inside of them, and the crystals, healing crystals. And then we have people in pharmaceutical sales. Then we have TikTok shop creators, all the way down to whatever fitness creators, right? So we'll plateau that. That'll stay probably around the 50, just so we can keep giving great value there. The two big things is we're getting a studio in Omaha, which will launch a local branch, a little more of a production side. A local company can come in, get a month of content in a couple hours, which will be nice. That won't be a big focus. This is just going to be kind of like cash flow.
Quick question. How do you create a month's worth of content in a couple hours?
Great question. So we have to be really strong with the ideation. Okay, so basically you can do this on a 2-week cycle, twice with innovation. So basically we're looking for 14 ideas, 14 formats, and then we repair them for more data on the back half. Okay, and I don't suggest this because the feedback loop is so bad. You want feedback loop daily if you can, but for local businesses in Omaha, Nebraska, where the social media is already god awful, like we're not trying to give them a 10 out of 10 service. We're trying to give them an 8 out of 10 service, which would make them take over the whole city. So, we don't care about iterating on a weekly basis or a daily basis like we do with our actual agency clients. So ideation, we're going to go and we're going to get basically 14 topics that are going to really, really matter. And now how we package them and communicate them is going to be different. So let me try to do this with sales. We'll do like 5 real quick, and then we'll expand it out like it would have been 14. So let's say topic number 1 is the intersection between copywriting and sales. Topic number 2 is KPIs. Topic number 3 is going to be managing a sales team. It's going to be more bottom of funnel, not for everyone, but for those killers. Right. Topic number 4 is going to be maybe something funny. We're gonna do one of those Johnny Mao calls, but we're gonna sell to the Grinch. Okay, it's gonna be something funny. It's a little series that we'll do. Topic number 5 is going to be some mental performance to get your mind right for sales. Okay. And then let's say we get that out. We run that out for 14 days. Keep going. Now we're going to reformat it. So we'll go green screen day 1, whiteboard day 2, talking head day 3. These are formats, how it comes across, if that's making sense.
Yeah.
And then we keep the same ideas, communicate them a little bit differently, and put a new format on them. So we might have went the intersection. So topic 1, intersection of sales and copywriting. Maybe we did green screen. Right, where it was you and you were talking about an email that you sent and you're showing it behind you on the green screen. Okay, then 14 days later, we'll do it, but we'll do podcast style. So the camera will be on you and you're going to be talking about your 2 favorite tactics, right? So you get the 14, you reformat them, and then we just run the person through the blueprint, right? And then we have some scripting prompts that we can script pretty easily. I hate AI scripting, but again, for local businesses, probably fine. Or if someone's a really good yapper, we'll let them yap for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and then reverse engineer the script through the editing process.
Understood.
So that's how we do that.
With AI, right? There's a lot of AI slop, and I've been in the writing world forever, and so God, it's terrible.
Yeah.
How do you personally though use prompting and AI in your workflow? And what's like the hot sauce on that?
Yeah, the way to use AI for content in 2026 has nothing to do with scripting. In fact, if you're doing that, you should probably jump off of a bridge, I think. Instead, you need to use it for ideation. Okay. And what I mean by that is you need to emotionally detach yourself from the ideas that you think are good. You need to objectively attach yourself to the ideas that have the most emotional resonance with your niche. So I have a prompt we JSONed it out. It's super dialed. It basically says, here's my niche. Go find me the number 1 most unique, specific, and observed situation that my ideal customer profile has experienced. So let's say it's gardeners. It needs to be unique. So it's not just going to be like planting my carrots. It needs to be specific. So it can't just be like watering stuff. It needs to be observable. They have to know that they experienced it. It can't be like some ethereal thing, right? And maybe it gets so specific that all those people, it has a 92% rate where it says out of 1 million gardeners, 92% of them have experienced the pain of going out to their garden specifically after the first frost in October and realizing the leaves are brown because they forgot to trim them, and now they've just lost their whole harvest. That's wildly random. I just pulled that out of nowhere. But that's going to be a viral video because you're going to be the only person talking about it. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I felt that. Somebody's finally talking to me about it. A great example about this, nobody talks about having a big follower count and not being able to monetize. Not many people talk about follower quality. And so I put a name to it. I came to content and I said, hey, let me talk about follower quality. And all these people with big accounts were like, finally, someone's talking about follower quality, right? It was this really large, specific, unique, observed emotional or circumstance.
Specific, unique, observed. I have a friend, Brianna. I just got off a call with her yesterday. Her Instagram is Black Card Declined, and she makes these videos like, it's like anti-black victim mindset, and she has just went like into the stratosphere.
Yeah, because it's so controversial.
Yeah, and it's that controversial piece. It's specific, unique, and observed, and it's crushing. What about like the polarizing stuff? Like, how much of that do you think about? Like, take a counterexample, like the whatever that would be.
Yeah. So how much? What's the proper way to like rage bait or make polarizing content? In my opinion, it is the balance between what you already believe and taking a hard stance on, and not drifting into just saying something to piss somebody off that you don't actually believe in. Okay. So a lot of people will say things just to get people fired up, and it's completely wrong. It makes them look like an idiot. It has no personal brand value because just because it gets 1 million views, if everyone thinks that you're autistic because you said it, then you're not building any fandom, right? Everyone's like, why would I follow this guy? He's an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you can take a nuanced stance on something that you actually believe in, there's a tribe out there that also believes in you. And so they're going to go to the comments, and then they're also going to follow you, right? So the goal is there's green over here, there's red over here, and there's a lot of gray right here. We don't want to live in the gray. We just want to force ourselves to go green or red so that the people in the green bucket or the people in the red bucket can align with us.
Could you maybe give me an example of something that you feel as though you're over here on and other people are over on the other side?
Yeah, I think building in public is the worst content strategy in the world. And that sentence right there is me not nuancing it, right? I have plenty of meetings where I'll consult somebody on when to build in public. I'm not going to say that online. I'm going to take a hard stance on something I believe in. I believe in that 90% of the time. So I'm not going to say, hey, you probably shouldn't build in public unless you're maybe this person or maybe this person. I'm just going to say the worst mistake creators make is building in public. It's so stupid. And then the people who have experienced building in public and not getting success are going to be like, oh my gosh, this guy gets it. And then the people who are like, no, I built my whole brand on building in public are going to come to the comments, drive the polarity up.
Got it.
Right. So it's tribe stuff right here. I don't really want to work with someone who wants me to do their every single day build in public, like a founder who wants me to help them launch their ice barrel company, and they want day one of building in public an ice barrel company. I don't want to work with them anyways, right? That's not my niche. There's no ideation in that. I'm the ideator, right? So I'm strategic about isolating those people away from me, getting them to drive my views up because they're going to argue with me in the comments, but I never want to work with them anyways. But I'm also not losing credibility, right? Because it's a reasonable stance. I'm not saying something like, I'm not saying something that would just actually make me sound unintelligent or someone you wouldn't want to work with.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's really important about when you're building your brand, you have to know who you're for and who you're against.
Yes.
And then one of the best copywriting principles is having like the same enemy.
Yes.
Where it's like, we both hate this person or we both disagree with that thing, therefore we're friends.
Yes.
Right. What's Caleb Ralston? He's a beast, man. I met him in Austin, and I really like what he's doing. And he put out this 6-hour like personal branding course, which is really good. He talked about brand being like unique association and pairing of things and whatnot. How would you define personal branding?
Yeah, so this is for sure Caleb's wheelhouse. I definitely am probably like a mid-brander. Like whenever it comes to branding, I'm more strategy. Jackson might even be better at branding than I am. I think that basically if someone had to summarize who you are in one word or what you would put on your tombstone, it's like Briar Cochran, follower of Christ, husband and father, content strategist. Like that's what I want on my tombstone one day. Like that is personal branding, is whenever you have so much strong association. And then bonus points if you can attach emotion to it. Whenever I say Nike, what do you think about?
Just do it.
Just do it. What give me like
sweaty runner sprinting through,
hard work,
motivated,
winning,
taking over the world.
Exactly, taking over the world. Exactly. And then whenever I say New Balance, you don't think that.
Nah.
No, they didn't create that association. They made a different association, a little more style.
Jack Harlow, though.
Jack Harlow, style. Exactly. They go Jack Harlow. New Balance literally has an ad that says made for the dad in Ohio and the supermodel in London. The only shoe that's worn by a dad in Ohio and a supermodel in London is because they're playing a little more on the fashion standpoint. So we could say shoe companies on both of their tombstones, but then there's an emotional attachment that goes different directions, right? So for me, content strategist, but the emotional attachment is data, science, seeing it through a lens of numbers and making it more objective, more consumable, rather than you are the niche, here are my 5 favorite hooks. That's still a content strategist, technically. My personal brand counterposition against that, and with more data analytics, scientific. So I think that's personal branding. Can someone give you a title and can they add just one emotion to it?
Yeah.
And I would heavily suggest going and watching Caleb's 6-hour video on that.
So when you're thinking about building, right, I know you've been in the trenches deep in Omaha, Nebraska, just in the basement with your camera just gathering dust, right? I know. You've been working really hard. We were talking about something where I shared with you that I moved to Austin and whatnot. And let's see if we can go viral on the spot. Ready? Okay. So what would you, if I wanted to make a clip about polarizing, controversial, resonates with some people are like, that's retarded. Here we are, we're already off to the good start. Yeah. I moved to Austin and you were telling me like the real grinders are in Omaha, Nebraska, like in the basement. Like, how would you think about structuring a piece of content that would for sure go viral? Like, what are the things that come to mind and the science behind it?
Yeah, if you want to go viral, which first of all, you have to ask yourself why, but we're going to do it for the sake of it, to run the views up. So first, we need to have high TAM, total addressable market, okay? For example, if I say, hey, ladies, this is for you. That's 50% of the world, 4 billion people in that TAM, right? If I say, hey, college girls, this is for you. Okay, and that's no longer 4 billion. That's
X,
a smaller TAM, right? If I say, hey, college girls that love Pilates, this is for you. Now you see how the TAM goes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't expand the TAM high enough.
For the purpose of virality.
You need to be able to say something that can almost appeal to the whole world. Okay. Right. So anything sales will only max out on people interested in sales. Right. But if we can expand the TAM to business, okay, a little bit more. Now, if we can expand the TAM out of business to money, okay, now we're getting a little closer. If we can expand it out of maybe business and money to ambition, now it's like, okay, how many ambitious people are there in the world? Now we're working on a TAM that I think makes a little more sense.
Got it.
Right. For the sake of views.
So you're saying when some people are executing on this, they're just not thinking about getting that big enough TAM.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's kind of like you really can't go mega viral.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
There's like a ceiling. Let's say, there's only X amount of people in the world. And so even if you got all of those views.
Right. Well, it's like if salespeople, there's only X amount of people that are in remote high ticket sales. And so therefore even if you got all of them, it would only be this number.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then it's like if I made a video, but I reached 10% of the people in high ticket sales, or I reached 10% of the people who are in sales, that 10%, it's the same video, same quality of video. It's a 10% good video. This 10% of high ticket sales is going to be, let's say whatever number. This 10% of all sales is going to be way bigger. So it could have been the exact same quality of video, only reached 10% of my target audience, but it got way more views over here. Right. You don't have to go crazy high TAM. I think most people just need to go one layer higher.
Is there a number that you would say? Is it like at least it has to be millions?
Oh, I'm trying to go for billions.
Okay. So people TAM.
If I'm going for a top of funnel content, that's not always my goal. Right. You know, so yeah, expand the TAM a little bit.
Sure. And
Then the next thing we need to think about is great storytelling. Okay. So this is just communication 101. You know, can we create curiosity at the beginning? Can we open curiosity loops as we go?
yep.
Can we move in illustrations and metaphors? Can we maybe use a statistic? Can it be very unique and specific? Just kind of what we talk about. So two really common principles. Storytelling, right? If I suck at storytelling and suck at communicating, it doesn't matter how big my TAM is, it's not going anywhere, right? And then the third principle is having some form of conversation around the video. So I need people to, this is like very philosophical. I need people either go to the comments and say something, or I need them to send it to a group chat and say something.
And that's where you talk about the communal and the unique.
Yes, communal language, right? Because then they're going to send it to their group chat. I don't need, if I'm specifically not trying to make a video get sent, but I'm trying to drive comments, different strategy. I don't need communal language anymore.
And with the viral, are you doing sending and comments?
No, I mean, I try to, but usually like coming to a video, you can't usually hit both. And then we have saves as well. That's like a third layer to this. And so usually I just try to maybe pick one or two, like, okay, I'm really going for comments here. Oh, no. We're really going for sends here.
And so I can think through an example of sends would be like me and the boys after we blank.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to get more sends than comments.
For sure.
Right? What would be an example of something that gets more comments than the other ones?
Yeah, so that would be something controversial. I'm not always sending controversial stuff to my boys. Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But something more controversial would probably drive comments. Something where we plant what I call a comment farm. So maybe, imagine if like we just had something really like abstract in the background that people would just started asking about in the comments. Like, yo,
what is that plant?
Yeah, exactly. Like there's this girl called Wall Street Wardrobe, and she walks down New York City in the streets, and she has a Hermes Birkin bag, $20,000 bag, and she keeps it open, and it looks like her money's just gonna fall out. You can literally, like, it's open, all the comments, just close the damn bag, you're giving me anxiety, close the bag, someone's gonna take your purse, close the bag. And she did it on purpose. So you see it like in every video.
Yeah, I watched this one where this guy was like showing the camera to come over and like look at what he was doing, or the person like came in the room was like, show me what you're doing. And like at the very beginning of the clip, he had like the hub on his laptop.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's like, what
Yes,
was that?
yeah, exactly, dude.
Okay.
I'd say that is a great content farm.
Yeah.
Do you know Ashton Hall?
Yeah.
He does this really well. He'll have 40 clips in a quick video. They're all 1 second, him rubbing banana on his face, dunking his head in water. And then just randomly, you'll just see it for a couple seconds. He like will drive away from the gym and his bag will be on the top of his G-Wagon. And someone will comment like, yo, your bag was on the top. Like, did it fall? Like, did you not see that?
Yeah.
Just like small things like that, right?
Okay.
So that's how might be how I drive conversation.
Got it.
Or it's just like a hot topic right now. So for example, we drove conversation on Kylie Jenner lied to get on Forbes as the youngest billionaire. Some people think that's good marketing. Some people don't. You know what I mean? Whose fault is it? Is that Forbes' fault? Is that Forbes' fault for not looking into it? Or is it this person's fault? Justin Herbert, quarterback for the Chargers, just ignored an interview because he wanted to celebrate with his team. A lot of conversation going around that.
Sure.
Okay, maybe how do we weave that in to what we want to talk about?
Okay, so you got TAM, you've got the conversation,
or I'll call that metrics category, because maybe we're going conversation, maybe we're going sense, maybe we're going saves.
TAM, storytelling,
metrics.
Okay. Yeah. What? Anything else?
No, I think if you can crush those three while also being unique, that's always the most important thing here. We have to be unique. We have to be unique. And then have a great hook, which those two things are harder to teach. Then you have a viral video.
So if I wanted to, like we were talking about this in private, and you're like, dude, people that live in Miami and Austin, they don't even want it bad enough.
Yeah.
Right. They don't want it. They want this versus like the real grinders, or, somewhere where the only thing you can do is grind. How would you think about, where would you go first in this process? And then like, we can go into the hook too.
Yeah, so I'm going to be able to, if we're going to do this like literally right now, I'm going to just start with a really strong statement, but what's going to happen is I'm going to lose, if I just rant on that for a minute, I'm going to lose a lot of people who get the point. Like, okay, yeah, I got the point 15 seconds in. So I'm going to have to reopen a new curiosity loop, probably like 15 seconds in, to get the watch time to go a little bit more. right? So what I might say here is like, yo, if you live in Miami, Austin, New York, like you actually do not care about working hard. Here's why. That's going to be a strong hook. And then, but somewhere in there, I have to immediately reopen a new curiosity loop. And it might be something like, instead, here are 3 cities. This is a corny way to do it, but here are 3 cities that you like actual hardworking people live in. Des Moines, Iowa, Fargo, North Dakota, Omaha, Nebraska, bro. You know, that would do it. Or I could kind of like, pull people along a little bit and like, I'm going to tell you why those cities are terrible places to work. But first I need to say this. And what all that does is it just keeps the curiosity kind of moving a little bit. Right. So hook can be pretty simple. I don't like thinking about the hooks too much. Like, let's just say something crazy and then just get into it, you know? So, should we do it?
Yeah, that's real.
All right. Let me think here. Let's piece this together. So I might take this sentence by sentence and then we can stitch together.
Yeah. So big hook first.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah, I could try. Yeah. Okay. So if you live in Miami, Austin, or LA, you do not actually want it bad enough because, okay, so that would be the hook.
That'd be the hook. That's good.
Okay. Right. Or how could I make that better? It's like if you live in Miami, Austin, or LA, and you're a business owner, you don't actually want to go to.
No, we don't want to say business owners.
Okay,
That's depressing.
Reduce the TAM.
Compressing TAM.
Okay.
Right.
Here, you hit one.
Okay. So I might say like this. I might say something like, if you live in like one of those big cities, Miami, Los Angeles, you actually do not care about hard work at all. You are lying to yourself if you say that you are going there because you want to improve your career, get around more successful people. That's actually bullshit.
That's going to piss some people off. Okay.
That's how you start.
Okay. And then if we were to pair it to where you're at, well, you're in Omaha, Nebraska, so that's the storytelling part. Would you incorporate your own and then say like, for me, I'm in X, and then what would be the next curiosity loop?
Yeah, I think next is we could probably, let's give a reason why. Let's give a reason why, just real quick, one sentence, just to kind of alleviate some of the curiosity there so we don't piss people off to the point where they're like, this is stupid, corny, let's move on. So I would say, you are literally trying to convince yourself that you moved there for the community and the people, but it's actually the weather, the girls, the partying, and you're putting 90% of your time probably there. You can tell me all you want that you're working 40 hours a week. You're actually not, and I just don't care. So that's a little bit there. Now we're going to reopen the curiosity loop and bring in a new opinion, this other opinion. The 3 cities, like if I had to, let me redo that. Now I'm going to rehook it with something a little bit stronger. If you held a gun to my head and you said I have to make $100,000 a month in the next 60 to 90 days, the 3 cities I would pick to live in: Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, Fargo, North Dakota. Why?
Yeah, that's good.
And then that why right there is another curiosity loop. Right? We're reopening it back up. We're going to go in another one. You good, Ralph?
Yeah, I just had to stretch.
Yeah, there you go. So I just said why. It's another curiosity loop. We'll alleviate a little bit again, and then maybe we'll try to throw in a comment farm at the end. Okay. So we said why. What is there to do in those cities in the winter? Nothing. All you do is work. Nobody there is ambitious. It's just you. You only need 2 to 3 friends. I don't like that. Never mind. We're going to cut that real quick.
Okay.
What is there to do in those cities in the winter besides just work? There's nothing fun to do. There's no hot girls to distract you.
Except your wife.
Except my wife. And everything is crazy cheap, so you can leverage all of your money for your business.
Boom.
So that's unique, right? I was trying to get that last one. And then I think I would end by saying something like, how can I really, really just drive the needle? You know, something crazy. Like, this might be where I would say something wildly inappropriate. Like maybe like we should like drop a nuke on Miami or something.
Yeah. You live in Brickell?
Bro.
You're fucked.
Yeah, dude. I would rather live in Des Moines, Iowa than Brickell, if I'm being just brutally honest. That right there might be a viral piece of content.
Mm-hmm.
If we would have more time, and by viral, I mean like, you know, your baseline view is maybe 5 to 10,000. I think this might go 25 to 30,000. So it might not go all the way to 100 million, but double the baseline.
Would you consider viral like 3-4x baseline. Is that how you think?
Yeah, it's a great 4 to 5x. I call it viral for you, VFY, viral for you.
Okay.
What's viral for you, right? So some people come into my program and they have 500 views. 500 viral for you is 2,000 views, bro. Let's go make that happen, you know? So yeah.
That's helpful. That's helpful.
And then you climb. You just climb.
Okay.
My new baseline is now 1,000. Okay, well, viral for me now is 5,000. Okay, my new
Right.
baseline is 2,000. Viral for me is now.
Mm-hmm.
Which keep going.
Okay, let's put it all together. Right. So it's if you live in these cities, here you can take this. You do this all the time.
Dude, you might have to just stitch that back together. I don't know if I have the songs like that again, but I'll try. Here we go. If you live in any of those major cities, Miami, New York, LA, you actually don't care about hard work. I don't care what you say to me. You're never going to convince me. You say that you moved there to be around successful people and opportunity. No, you didn't. You moved for the girls. You moved for the partying. You moved for the weather. All of those things are distracting you from your main goal. If you held a gun to my head right now and you said you have 90 days to make $100,000 a month, I'm living in one of these 3 cities: Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, Fargo, North Dakota. Why? What can I do there? Nothing besides work. Nothing besides work.
Oh,
That might be it.
dude, that is so good, man. And then you could stick the end, which is there's no hot girls, there's nothing to do as far as parties go, and then whatever.
Oh, yeah. And then
Miami thing.
Yeah, okay, fair. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do in those cities? There's no hot girls to distract you. There's no activities to do there. It's cold outside. I'm not going to the beach and wasting time there. And everything's cheaper, so I can invest all my money back to my business. I would rather live in Des Moines, Iowa than Brickell 9 times out of 10. Nah, I would rather live in Des Moines, Iowa over Brickell 10 out of 10 times.
Oh.
We'll see. We'll have to see how that does. We'll have to see how that does.
No, but the exercise is really helpful
It is.
because I think so many people, when they start content, obviously you don't have to go and create these super viral clips, and it's probably not that you need to do that as every single time, right? What would you say if we looked at a pie, right, of someone's content strategy on a weekly basis? And let's say they're already pretty good. Like they come to you and they're making $50,000 a month with their coaching business, and they've got, multi-5-figure following. I guess it depends on the goal, right?
Yeah,
But
I guess it was the first thing I was going to ask you.
yeah, it depends on the goal, but it would be to double their following, keep it unique to them, that their clients, like double their following that are potential clients,
Okay, perfect.
right? What does that look like? Is it once a week, the viral thing, and then what else are the others, or is it twice a week? Like, what does that pie look like?
Yeah, so I would say, are they trying to drive revenue at this time? Are they trying to grow their channel, or a little mix of all?
Probably mixed.
Yeah, I would probably say it might look like a 4-to-1 ratio. So 4 is going to be a little bit more top of funnel, but here's the tricky part. It has to have a through line. Okay. So like I would never post what I just said on my page because there's not a through line to content. Okay. Maybe you could actually make the argument with business. There could be a through line there. But instead what I can do is I can go high TAM and still trying to push the views, top of funnel, and still have a through line of content, right? So for example, this is like pretty decent TAM, like top 5 creators in 2025. A lot of people are going to want to watch that video, but it's not outside of my through line. So what I'm not saying, what a lot of people do is they're teaching real estate, and then all of a sudden they're talking about how like the Sydney Sweeney jeans campaign is controversial. It's like, dude, how does that have anything to do with what you're trying to do? I think there has to be a through line. But so 4 of the videos are going to be TAM, high TAM, top of funnel, but still within our through line. Okay. And maybe that means for you, it's still not going to get very many views because you're in a crazy small niche. And that's fine. You're just looking for your viral for you version, top of funnel.
Let's say real estate. Let's say they have they teach people how to do Airbnb,
okay,
or something, and they do Airbnb.
Yeah, this is great. This has like virality baked into it because this is such a big niche, right?
And then they want to do this pie.
Let's do this pie. Okay, so let's do the 4 top of funnel videos. Video number 1 is the 5 cities to travel to in 2026 that no one's talking about. It has the through line down to Airbnb, right? Number 2 is how much money I made off of my 5 Airbnbs. Even if I don't care about Airbnb, I'm pretty interested in watching that. Number 3 is 9 travel hacks. These are kind of cringe because they're a little too clickbaity, but whatever. 9 travel hacks that I'm taking with me to the holidays. Not the holidays because that doesn't give travel. 9 travel hacks I'm taking with me to my beach vacation over the holidays. Okay. And then number 4, Justin Bieber just recorded his newest album at this Airbnb. Here's what he loved about it.
Dang.
Those
That's
4
the
videos.
Sam, that's the virality.
That's the virality. Yeah.
Part of the 7.
Yes. Part of the 7.
Okay. What are the 2 and 1?
Okay. 2, we're going to go more middle of funnel content. This is where we're going to try to really nurture our clients or nurture our following and really let them know that like we know what the hell we're talking about. The main goal at the middle of funnel is to blow their mind. Okay. We just want them to be like, yo, that is crazy. I've never heard that before, and that's genius. Okay. So what we might say now is how I set up an AI concierge to upsell my average stay from 4 days to 5 days. And then it's literally like a blueprint. You know, you're showing the screen, you're setting, you're showing them the softwares, all that stuff. My email marketing campaign to get 90% more 5-star reviews that I used in Q4 of 2025. Very technical.
Middle funnel.
Yeah.
That's the driving to conversion.
Yeah. We want people to think to themselves, if I'm going to give this guy money to learn from him, I got to feel like he's a genius.
Okay.
Right. And don't make stuff up. A lot of people will just start making stuff up, bro. I see people do this stupid thing. This is just me going on a wild rant right here. They'll be like, what I learned from being a TikTok intern about the algorithm. You weren't a TikTok intern because I just know that you weren't, and because there's like 50 of you saying this exact same post. You're just trying to, it just pisses me off anyways.
Yeah, so many people, they just don't think about the long-term consequences of that.
Yes, exactly.
So,
they just want to run. Okay.
2 mind-blower things.
Yeah.
Build the trust, blow their mind, make them say, if I wanted to pay someone, it's this guy because he knows his shit.
Yes, exactly. And then the one time we were going to go bottom of funnel, the goal here is to basically show people what we sell without saying it so blatantly, right? Instead of just being like, hey guys, this Friday I'm running a webinar, and if you join, you know, you're going to learn this, this, and this. What we can say is, you know, one thing that I did is I did a 6-minute green screen breakdown of how I analyze data for one of my clients, but I positioned it as his journey to a 1.7 million viewed video. But throughout it, I'm saying on our consulting call, on our next consulting call, on our next consulting call, we did this, we did this, we did this. And then I got so many leads from that. People were like, yo.
So instead of saying, here's how I took my client, it's here's how person grew to blank.
Yes.
And then you just dump it with, we did X, Y, Z.
Boom.
I did this. I helped him. He listened to me.
Yes. Copywriting principle is called the sneak peek inside, right? See inside. We're just trying to give someone a glimpse of what it looks like to work with us and just kind of signal to our audience that we have something available.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're doing that once a week. I like that. There's a couple other cool ways to do it. You can do client wins are probably a pretty easy one. You can also do like a Q&A from inside your community. And I was just on a call this morning with some people that I mentor and do consulting with, and this question got asked, 3 times. Boom. That just signals real quick we have something going on.
Yeah.
Right.
And then what do you do with the stories? That's the reels. That's 7 a week.
That's 7 a week. And then the stories we can actually sell hard. So twice a week, we're literally telling people, hey, thing here. We're doing copywriting, great copywriting. And then besides those 2 days, we're just showing our life, what we're learning, our favorite podcasts, quotes, etc.
Oh, that's a good question. So in the stories, like maybe it's for me personally, I've got the sales thing, whatever. Let's say besides this marathon thing that I want to do, like just in general, like it could be 1 out of 7 where I talk about the mindset hack that I learned through ultra running that I apply to whatever, or it could just be just some ultra running thing. But the stories though, it could be every day I'm posting my morning run. Would that kind of like break the rules?
100. No, it's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So the
stories,
the intimate.
Yes.
Let them know what's up. I'm making funny. I'm just laughing.
Yes, bro.
Here's my Chipotle bowl, like whatever.
And here's the psychological principle behind that. Stories are not a discovery mechanism. So you're not going to attract somebody with the wrong bait that you put on the hook, right? So if I'm trying to catch a catfish, I'm going to put XYZ on, I don't know, worms.
Yeah.
Jackson, what do we use to catch catfish?
It's nasty, but blood bait.
Yeah, you cut off the head of a smaller fish.
Yeah, that's one way.
Hot dogs,
Whatever.
baby.
Hot dogs.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna go catch something else with that, right? So on stories, I don't have to worry about that because we're not actually fishing. We're not trying to get. I can just have fun.
You're nurturing.
Yeah, exactly.
Super nurturer.
Showing, yeah, we want to build affinity. We want people to fall in love with us. It's the goal.
Got it. Okay. Um, Dude, you know what I've been thinking about this whole time? All we're talking about is organic,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, the two businesses that I've been a part of mostly, and I've generated $5 million for one of them and about $4 million for the other. So close to $10 million in the last 2.5 years. All of the traffic, or should I say probably 90% of the traffic has been completely organic. And that's, everybody's like, well, it must have been easy. Hell yeah, it was easy, right? Like, because they put in the work for organic, right? And a lot of businesses just want to like run paid ads and like just start with that. And I guess some of my journey in sales has been like this because organic is a little bit lumpier and less predictable. But what are your thoughts around paid ads?
Yeah, I mean, paid ads. What a topic, dude. Paid ads can be the greatest thing in the world for your business, or it can actually absolutely ruin your business, depending
What's
on how you use
the
it.
what's the ruin your business take?
Yeah, paid ads can ruin your business a couple ways. You can not have an organic presence, and you're only using paid ads, so your ROAS is going to be really, really bad because the conversion rate's going to be bad. If you have an organic presence, you're going to convert at a wildly higher rate because you're a real person and they can go learn from you more, right? And so your sales guys are going to be able to get on calls and they're going to be able to close 10, 15% higher because of the fact that you have an actual presence. You have a following. You're making sense. People are engaging. Oh, this guy's legit. Guy's not going to scam me if he has 50,000 followers. You know what I mean? As much. I mean, he still might. But and then people are going to book calls higher, right? So your margins are going to be trash if you don't have organic and you go straight to paid ads. Okay. The second thing about this is it'll ruin your organic because there's a psychological principle where if people are only ever seeing you in a paid ad setting, once you start organic, they're going to auto scroll because it's going to feel like a paid ad, right? So this is why, there's this guy who has 446,000 followers and he gets about 1,000 views, 2,000 views a video because he ruined his audience with paid ads. Every time they psychologically see him, they felt like it was a paid ad until he started posting again. So that's how you ruin your business with paid ads.
What about follower ads?
Follower ads are terrible because the person you're bringing into the door is not earned through attachment to your content. So then what happens? This is why it's terrible. You make a video and it gets sent to someone who's only 50% interested in you because you paid to get in front of them. The algorithm didn't find them specifically. The algorithm was stretched to find them. They were half interested in you.
They were incentivized to.
They were incentivized, exactly. So they were half interested into you, and sure, maybe they followed you because you sent it out in front of enough people. But then what happens is you make content and you ditch it to them, and they don't love your content, so they don't engage with it because they're not fans. They didn't follow you on purpose, or I mean, they did, but not out of like a really strong desire. They skip your profile or they skip your post, and then it tells the algorithm this post must not be very good. Let's not send it to more people. Okay, so I see people, oh yeah, we're getting a follower, $2 for a follower. We keep running it up, and then they start posting their organic, and their organic gets 1,000 views. It's because you just paid for 10,000 followers, and those 10,000 followers don't actually care about watching your content. So whenever the post gets sent to your 10,000 followers, they skip the first 3 seconds, and then the algorithm's like, why would I send this to anyone else? This post must suck, right? So hook rate's really bad, watch time's really bad because they're not sold on you. Right. They were brought in through a little bribery.
Right.
So
have you worked with people that have like fast growing accounts? And I guess what would you say to the people that are doing organic really well, or that want to do organic really well? Or what have you noticed? I guess, let me formulate my question. What have you noticed with some of the creators that are just going insane amongst the ones that you've worked with or amongst people that you know?
On organic specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, number one is they analyze data. So they're making incremental improvements, right? Because if you get 1% better every day, that compounds so insane. So insane. If you like get distracted and like, I'm going to go do this for a little bit. I'm going to go do this for a little bit. Like we have a client who, half of our conversations is me like reminding her that like she's on the right track. And like we don't have to go like randomly talk about like Art Basel in Miami. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to go get distracted. We can stay on this course, but that's not very creative, right? And so it can be kind of boring. But they're really good at sticking to at least not necessarily the exact video, but some linear journey of data and analyzing the data and improving on it for like a year plus. Okay. It is factual. The clients that have stayed with me the longest have gotten the best results because we untangle the data and then it spirals and compounds. So that's one. Number two is they just don't miss days. You'd be surprised about how many people just miss days. It's not a priority.
Yeah, higher up, higher up wellness.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about just like post every single day. I don't give a shit. Yeah,
Yes.
post every single day. Is that the law, or like because like in Ship 30 we talk about like never miss 2.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, is it that important?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think on TikTok you can definitely get away with just posting like random stuff. On Instagram, since you can get follower fatigue a little bit faster on Instagram, I would maybe say if you're literally just posting something terrible, take one day. On Instagram, on TikTok though, don't miss a day. Don't miss a day. Because you could just like scream on TikTok and be fine. Like I recorded a video that got 14,000 views and it was literally just me turning the camera on, taking 5 steps back and then turning it off. That was it. I didn't have a caption or anything. And I just wanted to like prove to people that like sometimes you just got to post. So, but on Instagram, that would maybe like bother followers. They have a higher expectation over there. So don't miss a day on TikTok. Definitely don't miss 2 days on. I mean, if it's your freaking full-time job, like you're my client and you're paying me, you should not be missing a day no matter what. You know what I mean? Like forget if you got like sad or sick or whatever. Like this is a job. And we also batch content. So like if you do actually get sick, like we have a bank of 14, 15 videos.
Yeah.
But yeah.
With the clients that you're working with or the people that you'd want to work with, right? What are some of the things that you're reminding them of that you want to constantly just get them to internalize and indoctrinate them into?
Yeah, it's what their audience actually wants, right? So, hey, just want to remind you, like the video where we talked about CIA level research did really well. We haven't talked about it in a couple weeks. I think that might be why views might be down. I think we should come back to that. Do you have any ideas on how we can repackage this? Oh my gosh, yeah, I was just reading this magazine where it reminded me of this. Okay, let's do that video. Hey, just want to remind you, our most view to follower ratio was this 4 ways to dress rich on a budget video. We haven't seen this in a minute, because we were kind of testing this other stuff. It's time to come back to it. Do you have any new thoughts on it? So it's just really reminding them of like what rips. They're not thinking on a data analytics level like we are, letting them know which hooks are performing well. And they're like the ones that are often in the trenches with their niche. It's their audience. So they have these phenomenal new ideas that then we take, innovate on, attach the old data to, and then make this new dream video. Right.
And it's because of the new ideation from the expert.
Yep.
Plus the data and the analyzing that makes it a systematically repeatable and predictable
for sure
sequence.
Boom.
Dude. Okay, one thing we were talking about was like how we might edit this podcast, and I can literally watch you doing this, and you mentioned how your brain just goes there. It's been really cool to see you, whenever I ask you a question, you answer with a hook. And like, I'm not going to clip those parts out because I think it's valuable to the listener and the watcher to see that happen in real time. And you've already trained your brain to do that. And so that's why it ends up doing really well, because you have to follow the process, right? Like I'm sure a lot of people, obviously they don't know as much as you, but they don't follow any framework. They don't follow any process. And so even the cringy, like here's 3 things, hopefully will do better than a non-framework, non-process.
100%.
Would that be fair to say?
1,000,000%. And it's also like, it's how I honor the host, right? Like you're going to grow your podcast through your clips. And so for me, it's like, it's harder for me to think of hooks. I could easily just sit here and just yap all I want. But I want to help you, right? I want to help you grow the podcast. And if I can get good clips in the podcast, it obviously will help me.
Yep.
Right. So it's this win-win, just like a couple, just taking pauses to just formulate a clear sentence, a couple principles that would go into it, and then just saying it, not overthinking it too much. I wouldn't necessarily say I have frameworks. It's just like 2 or 3 principles and then move on.
Yeah, well, the same thing, and I can just kick this to you, is like the same thing happens for me when I'm coaching my sales guys, where it's like I'll take a pause in a sales call and think about my next question. I know where it's going to go. And a lot of people, they don't even know where the sales conversation is going to go. So they're always thinking about what's next, and they're not actually having a conversation. They're just following a checklist. And it's like, as clearly you're not even there. We're not even listening to the person, right?
Yeah.
But I think with communication, like one thing I've learned with working with PGA and Dickie and Cole, like their formula on writing is proven, validated, and they just kind of do it over and over and over and over again. And of course, there's no information and whatnot, but they stay true to they know what works, right? But with sales guys all the time, it's just like they don't have any there's no systemization of much of it.
I have some questions on PGA. $1 million a month at one time. Has hit $1 million a month.
So PGA specifically, never
Okay,
did
but
it.
the product suite,
Yeah,
the service suite,
yeah, the portfolio of writing businesses, which includes
Right with AI,
Shift 30, Right with AI, PGA. Those are the big three.
So sick.
And all the little other things that we did, accumulated to $1 million a month. We hit $1 million in November. So in November 2024, it was the last day, and I was on the way to Europe. Me and my buddies were going to Amsterdam, and
Thomas with you?
it was me, Connor, and Josh and Kirkland. But I was with my boys, and it was the last day of the month, and we were on track to hit $1 million. And this is with PGA and with Category Newsletter Creator, which is their Black Friday product. And Black Friday's always been a big month for them because they crush that every single year, which is really awesome. And dude, I remember going and looking, and I'm like, okay, I need to hit four enrollments for my personal projection. And everybody's done working. It's like 8 p.m. Eastern. Everybody's done working. And so who knows if they're going to get more CNC sales or not. But I know that if we hit 6 more enrollments times $7,000, it was $42,000. And that's how short we were on the $1 million month. And so I get to the airport. I shit you not. I can go up and pull the email. I get to the airport. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to pull something out of my hat here. I don't know where I'm going to get these 6 enrollments or 4, but I'm not going to give up. And this is what I want to start teaching people in sales. Like a lot of people just kind of let the month take them. And if they don't have the amount of calls that they're supposed to get to hit their goals, and they're not going to hit it, and they're just going to like accept that and just limp through the finish line, especially when we're talking about December. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, Q4. It's like, no, you change your inputs to match what you need to hit your projection. I'm sure there's so many similarities in the content, but I wrote this email and it was like, quick question, time sensitive.
Such a good subject line.
Yeah. Quick question, lowercase, parentheses, time sensitive.
That's there's so much good copywriting in that right there.
And the email was something like, hey, I'm sending this to you because we've been talking about you potentially enrolling into this program for months. For whatever reason, you didn't make a decision. Maybe it's time, maybe it's money, maybe it's fear. Here's what I'm going to tell you. We are trying to hit a personal revenue goal for the company, and I'm trying to hit a personal goal for myself, which will unlock a $1,000 bonus for me and help me buy Christmas presents. And selfishly, I want to hit that. So here's my selfish interest. The business also has a selfish interest. What I can tell you is that I am 100% certain that you will succeed if you do everything that we lay out for you. I'm willing to break it down to the absolute most flexible payment plan possible, $500 a month over 14 months. It's never going to happen again. But I'm willing to do it if you sign up today for $500. And then I'll personally work with you for free if you don't hit the land a client in 8 weeks, and I will virtually guarantee that you will succeed, or I'll refund you. And this is a long shot, and I'll never be able to do this again, but you have to enroll by midnight Eastern, or I'm not going to be able to honor it. If you want to do this, here's the payment link. No call, just pay. Tristan, P.S. I literally will never be able to do this again, and it's a moonshot, but I'm telling you, if you do it and you wake up tomorrow and it's the worst decision you ever made and you think it's complete bullshit, I'll just refund you, and I'll buy you lunch for the wasted time. And I sent it out, dude, and I'm literally on the plane, and I buy the Wi-Fi, and I'm maniacally going through and texting everyone, hey, I just sent you a really important time sensitive email. You have to check it out. I'm not trying to bother you at 10 p.m., but I have a feeling that this email can literally change your entire life. Just go check it out. If you read it and do something, great. If not, happy holidays. Sent that text. Boom, 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 boom. I'm texting everybody like maniacally, right? I'm in 30,000 feet in the air, right? And that's what a lot of sales reps don't understand is they just don't hop into that fifth gear and do whatever the fuck is required. And I developed this mindset in running marathons and ultra marathons, specifically on the 100-mile distance. Because when you sign up for a 100-mile race, the only way you're going to make it to the finish line is if you give yourself literally no other option. And so my friend and I, who I went on this running journey with, we had this thing. It was just like, either we cross the finish line or we die. Those are the only two options, and I'm not going to die, right? And so that was the stakes. And then the way that we would reverse engineer that, and this applies to mostly sales, but in the running thing too, it's like if your life was on the line and literally let's say your wife and your daughter and everything, like your family, were held at gunpoint. And the only way that you could save their life is if you hit $100,000 a month in your business, or you hit the $1 million a month. What actions would you take? What would you do? And of course, it's a little bit morbid, or a little bit, maybe that doesn't resonate with everybody. But for me, being the David Goggins, Jocko Willink coded person that I am, that is the framework that I run every single month as a sales rep, or I did as a sales rep. And then now as a manager with my whole entire team, that's the playbook that I run at the end. And so the fourth week of the month is always like double. And the last day of the month is always like 3 or 4 times normal. But usually people don't know how to hop into that fifth gear and get into that flu game mindset.
Yeah.
And so I launched the email, sent all the text out, maniacally, just absolute conviction in what I'm selling. I'm like, I swear to God, this is going to be the best decision you ever made. And if it's not, I'll just give you your money back.
Yeah.
That type of belief. And guess what? Nobody, I think one person refunded out of 10. Or excuse me, not 10. That was a different month that I did that. I got 10 enrollments off of one email. But that month, I got the 6 people to sign up. And it took absolutely everything. And I worked until 11:59 Eastern. And at 11:55, I got the last person to agree to enroll. They paid from WhatsApp. And for them, it was like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I got them to enroll on $500, and we hit the goal. Projections made, close my laptop. I can sleep at night. My self-worth as a human has been restored.
So
Right.
now it's time to Amsterdam it up, bro.
Right. And so
Exactly.
I'm definitely not going to take any credit beyond, what they did, but we hit $1 million month that month. And it was because of we hit it by like $1,000. The next 2 days, it ended up becoming like 1.2 million in a 30-day period. But for the month of November 2024, the only reason we hit that $1 million month, well, there was many reasons, but the finish line reason was because I sent it across.
Yep.
And I went maniacal at the end. And so working at PGA was just like an absolute game changer for me. But every single month, I took my projections so seriously, and I would never accept second place, ever.
So show us behind the curtain of their content to, like, basically their funnel. Like, what were they doing? Like, written content from 2 people on LinkedIn and Twitter.
Yep.
To a newsletter.
Yeah, I'll break it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And if you could show me like views, like what volume are we talking about? Because I don't know much about the written side, so I just want to see, like, okay, for this many posts at this many views that all had these.
I'm not going to
CTAs.
have the granular,
Sure.
like all the way down, but here's a couple things to keep in mind. Both Cole and Dickie both had their own distribution.
Yep.
To start off, and now they're 2 co-founders with good distribution.
It's crazy.
They started Ship 30, that ended up really taking off, and then they built a really loyal fan base, like shippers, right? They had a ship emoji. Talk about like category creation, right? Like they're owning this 30-day writing challenge, and they start off by just writing threads. Like Dickie's whole thing was like writing threads every single day on Twitter for X amount of time. And then he has a story where he did that for 30 days. And on like day 29, he ended up getting shouted out by Tim Ferriss or something. And it just made him go viral, which is, again, like same thing, even though it's writing to video, it's like you got to just keep iterating, and then eventually something will pop. But they both had really good distribution. Then they started working together. So they're doing it off 2 accounts, which is helpful. But they had a really loyal audience. They launched a product, shipped 30 for 30, and they would get on calls with every single person and asked what could be better, what could be improved, etc. And none of this is scalable, right? Like Dickie would send the same Loom video to 400 people just to increase the affinity and the excellence and the delivery of the product and how much the person enjoyed the product, right? So total non-scalable stuff in the beginning. And Daniel Bustamante, who's now doing his own personal brand, he's doing really well on LinkedIn, was behind the scenes just slaying boars, just execution. And big thing is in the beginning, there was no real plan to create $1 million a month business. It was just, we're going to sprint on this thing. We get proof of life. We iterate. We're going to sprint some more. We don't really know what's happening, but we're just attacking bottlenecks. And so Dickie's big thing was bottleneck analysis. And then they launched a high ticket coaching, which was PGA, for 4,800. They did a beta test of 10 people. And then 6,800, here we go. And I was the first sales rep hire, me and my buddy Connor. And we were both there for 20 some odd months. And every single month, it was just lay down leads. In the beginning, it was just lay downs. People would line up and just buy anything that they had because they had such a loyal following. And if you want to study them, I don't know what it looked like in the first year when they were just doing Ship 30, but by the time they went to 2023 and launched a coaching program, they had so much goodwill built up with their audience that they were able to then cash in on and deliver again for, that it was just nuts. And like you mentioned earlier, some people do this barbell content thing where it's this idea over here, and this one. PGA has been the perfect funnel because they'll go Ship 30, they'll go PGA, then they'll go lift off, then they'll go to the next thing. But from a content perspective, to get them in the funnel, they had a posting cadence. I'm not sure what it was, and they're doing probably a couple million impressions a month. I don't know what the number is, but posting cadence, very mathematical. And then they would drive people to an email list. And one thing that they did really exceptionally well is they just built up their email list so much. Then they did 3 value emails per week. And then there was a value, direct, and indirect, where you're basically CTAing the next thing. And then instead of 3 emails a day, then they brought it to 7.
Oh, wait, 3 emails a week?
Excuse me, 3 emails a week. And to the list to have them book a call, take an action, or whatever. And then for the people that weren't financially qualified, there's a downsell option. And then there's Right with AI, which is also another thing that they spun up as well. And so they're just double and triple dipping on the same core idea, which is they want to help people write on the internet and make money from it somehow, right? And then they take a subcategory of that, and then they created a Black Friday product where you have full stack writer or category newsletter creator. This year they did decision journaling, and so they would spin it off that way, right? And over time it was just bottleneck analysis. But as far as the organic side goes, they're masterful at that. And so for me, as I start to build my brand, before I even touch ads or anything, I'm just going to learn this game. And I think for me, I've enjoyed video a lot more because I'm a natural speaker compared to writer. But from an organic content creation perspective, they just systematically CTA people to emails, write good emails, some with values, some with ask, and they have a ratio of that. I think it's probably 2 or 3 times out of 10 they're going to make an ask, right? And they over deliver. One thing about them too is their product is just so good, and they have a high bar for excellence on that. I think their refund rate out of $20 million worth of revenue is 0.2%, which is basically unheard of.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so walk me through what some of your goals are for content going into 2026.
Yeah, for content specifically. So I signed 30 people up for the Austin Marathon. $200 ticket. I'm $6,000 in the hole, right? My Chase Bank is yo, what the hell?
Right? Are you running this thing 30 times yourself?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, so I got a bunch of fraud detection from that.
Yeah.
But I signed 30 people up for the Austin Marathon, all founders and sales professionals. And my passion project has always been helping people run their first marathon. And I just believe in the marathon as the mechanism to help people smash and break through their limiting beliefs. Because if it's hey, do you think you could run a marathon? Oh, I don't know if I could. I can't. I probably couldn't. I don't know. Maybe in 2 years. It's how about we do it in the next 90 days or less, right? Or 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I've helped some people just do it off the couch with 0 training, which I don't really recommend that. But for me, I ran the marathon in 3 weeks notice. And it changed my life because it gave me, well, number one, they give you a medal, which is pretty cool.
That's sick.
But it gave me a container and a piece of evidence that I can do hard things and I can go a lot farther. And that has served me when I think about building businesses. And I just want to give that to other people, right? It's like a piece of proof that you can break through these limiting beliefs and you can go farther than you think. And through running a marathon, you're going to have to go through all these iterations of what if it doesn't work out? I don't know if I can make it all the way, etc. But it's just banking on that finish line. So there's so many lessons with running a long distance that you can apply to business because it's the exact same thing. And you could say life is a marathon, you know. But with content specifically, I want to drive traffic to that. And so I want to create like a 50-person event or maybe even 100. That would be like the moonshot goal. It doesn't have to be super big, but I want to get the right people there and just give them that experience. It would give a lot to me. It would fill up my cup. And even if I don't make a dime from it, it's going to be awesome. And I could try to create another offer for them to buy into afterwards. So I'm going to try to document that. But as far as overall bigger goals, I ultimately just want to, I wouldn't say that I've found my footing for sure. And I've been kind of asking myself, like, what is it that I want to do? But I launched a podcast. Here we are, 20 episodes in. That's been a lot of fun. I really like having long form conversations with people. I want to master the short form, which I want to get to. So I want to I want to get really good at short form to where I can deliver value because I know that that's more accessible to people. Nurture them with the long form, just provide value and build a brand for myself where I can really make an impact and make money too, right? Like, let's not shy away from it. Like, I want to create that type of personal brand that can give me that same freedom where I never have to worry about money again.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think's if you had to develop a content strategy right now for yourself after the marathon to do what you just said, build a personal brand that you don't have to worry about money, get the following, maybe we get to 50,000 followers by the end of 2026.
Yeah.
Post-marathon, because obviously for the marathon, you got one goal. Post-marathon, what does that look like?
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good question.
I'm curious if you could break it into examples of types of videos for me.
Okay, let me start big and then we'll go into it.
Yeah.
So one thing that I really enjoy is sales, right? I manage a sales team that's doing multiple six figures a month. I have clients, that are running businesses that have sales teams. And so that's what I do with my agency. But with my content, I think that a lot of people, let me think about this. I want to help people learn how to communicate better. I want to help people learn how to close deals. I want to help people learn how to continue to persevere and follow up for the deals that they don't close right away. So I'll give you a local example. In the sales world, there's all these objection handling videos, right? I don't really care about that much because you already have that. That already exists.
Yeah.
And so my counter position to that is, okay, let's say you have a 30% close rate and you're an advanced salesperson, or you're on a good offer that you're lucky to have because people want it, right? What I want to do is remind you that even though you don't close someone right away, that you should not give up on that person, and you're making a huge mistake by not nurturing your list of people in your pipeline.
So once a week, probably for the rest of the year, you should have a video about the art of following up.
The art of follow-up. Yeah. And there's another angle where I've sent, like, for example, like I closed you within a week of PGA, right? But had I given up on you on that first call and you sent me that email, hey, I'm out, man, it's a refund, then maybe you wouldn't be sitting right here, but like, you wouldn't have closed.
No.
Right. And so people just give up on their deals too easily. And I'm not a fan of giving up on people. Right. Yep. And I'm also not a fan of losing the sale. Right. If I believe in the thing, I'm dead set. So let's assume within the sales that that the thing that you're selling can help the person. Right. And let's assume that you trust that the person would actually go and do the thing if they took that first step. Right. It's like, if we're going to sign up for the marathon and get to the start line, we're going to run it. Right. If those two things are true, then you have a moral obligation to nurture that person until they enroll. And so many people leave money on the table. Right. And you can make an extra $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month if you simply just did this. And there's so much around fuck a follow up. Right. And that's pointless. That's a waste of time. That is the most That is the dumbest take I have ever heard in my life.
What about some statistic that some people say that 90% of people who get off the call and don't sell, never close.
Okay. Well, if you take 1,000 sales calls in a year, which would be a lot, but it's not unheard of, that means even if 90% of them don't buy, 100 people will. And so if you make $1,000 per sale, guess what? You just made an extra $100,000.
Yeah.
Just by baking it into your workflow. So there's your math. 2% of sales are completed on the first conversation.
So you're saying rather than trying to move that 2% to 3% on the first conversation, let me force it on this first conversation, see if I can get that 2% to 3%. Instead, let's just own the 2% and then increase the follow-up from here on out.
Yeah.
Even if the odds are wildly small after the follow-up.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? Let's use high-ticket remote sales as an example. So, and I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot with the TAM, but I'd rather talk to the mind-blowing.
You want to do both.
Middle of funnel.
You want
right?
It's a balance, right?
With this example, though.
Yeah.
So let's talk about high-ticket sales. So me and the salesperson that was beside me in PGA, the offer where I sold $5 million and some in 2 years, a little less. We had the exact same amount of one call closes, right? I think it was like 250 something one call closes in that amount of time. But I had double the amount of same week follow-up, there's living proof, and triple the amount of long-term follow-up, anything that happens after 1 week, 7 days plus. And if you look at that 7 days plus, some of them is 10 days, some of them is 100 days, right? And so there's going to be now people and there's going to be not now people. You can get really good at selling the now people, but don't leave those not now people out to dry. And if you look at me and that second place salesperson, we had the same amount of one call closes, but the difference is I sold an extra $1 million. It was like $940,000 worth of revenue in that 14-month time period that I did the data on. So I made an extra whatever it is, $100,000, $80,000. It's a big number, right? And so just by doing that, and we worked the same amount of hours per day, by the way, but when we weren't on a call, I was writing emails. I was writing super compelling emails, and I built copywriting into my skill set. Every single week, I would have like a soap opera series that would just go out to my list. Like, hey, my friend Lane enrolled into the program. He just made $5,000. Hey, Briar, I convinced him to do it despite his wife being so completely skeptic of it. And guess what? He just made $100,000 in a month. Can you believe this? That can be you too. Boom. And then people are like, okay, you got me, man. Like, let's get back on a call. And I would just workshop those emails over and over again. And the not now people can become now people if they are nurtured correctly, which is the same exact thing as content.
Dude, yeah. Well, it's so good because, little side note here, content is like a mini follow-up in itself because they keep seeing you over and over again.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But then I was listening to this Instagram reel of Ryan Serhant, the real estate guy.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he says the thing that separates him is the follow-up. He met a guy at a Starbucks in 2009 or a coffee shop in 2009. Got his number, said he was looking for a $2 million house. Ryan didn't have what he was looking for. Said he sent him an email every other week until 2017. And then in 2017, 8 years later, he says, hey, man, sorry for the delay. Sorry I haven't gotten back to you 8 years later. My wife and I are going through a divorce, and I'm looking to get my own space. And made a sale that day, right? And so it's crazy, how powerful the follow-up is like that. And then on a content level, like that's a counter position.
Yeah,
that video went viral with Ryan Serhant, which is proof that there's a psychological concept around this concept of a follow-up in sales.
Well, dude, I'll give you an example, right? Like the people that are the sales reps that only worry about their one call closes and they never follow up with people are the laziest people in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And they're disrespectful because we call them lead babies. Like all you worry about is the people that show up on your calendar, right? Like you're never going to hit 100 dials or 200 dials in a day extra, or you're never going to spend 25 minutes sending out X amount of text blasts. And, now we have like stuff that you can do it automatically, but even manually, like I would manually email 500-600 people one time a week. And then eventually I built a little tool that could do it for me. But the people that aren't doing that, they're just lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the counter position to that is like, hey, like, here's a little known hack that can make you an extra $3,000 a month in commissions. It's called texting your leads. Like,
That's a hook.
like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, people, it's like, there's three, I'll give you a concept from management. It's whenever you're managing a sales team, it goes like this: results, pipeline, results, pipeline, activity, right? And so whenever you're having a rep that's performing well, it's just like, hey, man, you're getting results. Great. See you later. You want to talk about life and golf or whatever? Great. And if they're not doing as well, then we go into the pipeline. Hey, how many deals do you expect to close this month? How many do you have coming in this week? Let's just see where you're at. Okay, sounds good. But if they don't have their pipeline all put together and they're definitely not getting the results, then we go into the activity. What are you saying on the calls? What are you sending them? How many times have you followed up with them? And usually by the time we get to that activity part, they haven't done it, right? It's like, yeah, I followed up with them. It's like, okay, let me see the email. Oh, shit. Now we're talking. Now everybody's getting scared and they're standing up straight with their shoulders back, right? And so you can get lucky and get on a great offer where you can just get laydowns and just close them up. But like, it's just such a privileged place. And I just want to remind people, like, if you really want to be good and you're a good sales rep and you're already crushing it on the calls, but you want to add, that's the skill you have to have, is the follow-up, right? Because if you look at a graph, or excuse me, if you look at a spreadsheet of the equation, you have calls that got scheduled. Then you have live calls. How many live calls did you have?
Let's do this. Can I give numbers?
Yeah.
Let's say I had 10 calls and then I have a 30% show up rate.
Yeah, I'll give you the easier one. Let's say you have 100 sales calls scheduled onto your calendar, and then 70 of them show up. So now you have a 70% show rate.
Is that a good show rate?
It's fair,
Okay.
for sure. I mean, some people are sitting at 50 and they got a bigger problem in their confirmation sequence, which we could talk about.
Dude, I know an offer that has like a 25% show rate.
Yes, they're either not selling to people that know them, or they don't have a confirmation sequence at all.
Yeah.
They're not pitching the call well enough.
Okay.
Or they're just not building up. And it goes upstream, right? All the way from the content.
Right.
So on cold traffic, show rate's going to be 50%. On organic traffic, your show rate's going to be 70% or more, but you can get it up to 80, 85. So let's say you have 100 calls, 70% show up rate. You offer, let's just say for the sake of the math, you offer 100% of people, which is probably closer to like 90.
Yeah.
Because not everybody should be a good fit unless your application is like really strict.
Sure.
But let's just assume for the sake of the math that the offer rate's 100%.
Okay. So
you get 70 calls, you make 70 offers, and you close, let's say 7 out of 70, which is 10%. Or let's go 14 out of 70, right? You close 20%. Okay. You have a 70% show up rate and you have a 20% close rate. That means on 100 calls, you're going to get 14 deals, right?
Yep.
And you do that the next month, same thing. 70 show up, 14 deals. So you're always just going to hit that 14 deal mark, right? But 80%, so you can do a couple things to raise the amount of income. You can increase your close rate, right? Get better at the call, get it up to 25%, right? Now you're closing 17 and a half units per month, right? So you make an extra X amount.
Yep.
You can increase your show rate. Let's say you go from 50 to 75. Well, now instead of 50 calls, you get 75 calls, and instead of 10 closes, you get 15 closes.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
There's a trickle down
right.
of this.
Each of the numbers, or you can just get 200 calls at 70% show rate, 20% close rate. So that's another 14. So it goes to 28.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can raise each of these numbers, right? You can raise the amount of calls. You can raise the amount of show up.
Identify the bottleneck.
You can raise the amount of closes. Yeah. But what people forget about, because they don't put this on this spreadsheet, is follow-up closes, right? How many people from the last, let's say if you took 70 and you closed 14, that's what, 56 people that didn't close? What about those 56 people, man?
Yeah.
What happened to them? They're dead? Did they die? Right? Some of them had a family emergency, right? Fair enough. But like, you made them an offer, you determined they were a good fit, but you're not even reaching out to them, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And so after time, you get 50, 100, 150, 200 people that are in your pipeline that are just sitting there. They are begging for you to call them. They're like, man, I wish Briar would just call me, dude. I'm ready to pay. But I'm busy, so I'm not going to worry about it till he reaches out. and never reach out. And so it's just a travesty, man. And that's the differentiator, right? And if you just did that, you don't even have to change your skill set. You don't even have to change your show rate. You don't have to change the amount of live calls. It's just following up the people that are already existing in your pipeline. And two ways you do that are, number one, by selling yourself on the idea, right? Like you said, you had to sell yourself on the idea. Nobody believes that you can close follow-up deals, but I'm here to tell you, I made an extra $100,000 compared to the second place guy because I did this, right? So sell yourself on the idea that people will buy. Not everybody is a right now person, right? Have you ever had a situation where you thought about something and didn't do it, but then you did it later?
Yeah, dude, all the time.
All the time, right?
Yes.
And the person, if you don't follow up with that person, they're going to go buy it from somebody else.
Yes.
Right? They are going to go and find a solution to their problem.
Yeah.
Because the reason they got on the call in the first place is because they had a problem. So it's like, hey, here's an example of a follow-up message. Hey, person I talked to a month ago, how are things since we last spoke? Have things changed at all? If they haven't, would you consider making a change by partnering with me? If so, let's circle back.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. There it goes, right? And so it's not rocket science. It's just buying into the fact that you can close those not now people and they can become now people. And I promise you, it can raise your income by 50%.
Dude, that is crazy. So it's like, so if we bring this back to content, if someone were to just, let's say, double their traffic, their views, and let's do some math here.
Yeah. I'm good. Put me on. I like mental math.
Let's say this is the power. This is going to be the power of adding our two specialties, adding better content, so better traffic, and then better follow-up. We're going to say we get 100,000 views in a month, which is light-ish. 100K views, and it's going to turn into 100 calls. Okay. So we have a 10% view, or it's 1%. Yep, 1% view to call, which is wildly high.
Right.
Not going to happen. Okay. Then we go through it, 70% show rate. Is there anything that a sales guy can do? Well, even actually, okay, we'll get there. So then we have a 70% show rate. So we have 70 calls, and let's say we're closing at 20%.
Yeah, just for the sake of the math, you should be closing higher. But let's just say,
well, give us what's the baseline?
25.
25. Okay, 25%.
17 and a half units.
17 and a half units
On 100,000 views a month.
On 100,000 views a month. Let's give us a price point.
10 grand.
10 grand. Okay, so this is
$175,000 a month based on 100,000 views.
Exactly. Okay, let's ramp up let's get more reach. So 200,000 views, very reasonable. Not that crazy.
Business is 350.
Well, wait, this is where it gets crazier. Organic content's so powerful, the show up rate's going to be a hair higher now. Just a hair.
Oh, yeah.
Because people care now more.
Let's go 75%. Let's go 80%.
80%. So we
200.
We'll still book the same amount of calls. So we'll be at 200 calls. But we will have
80% show up rate.
80% show up rate, which is 160 calls. And then let's say, because the organic is so good, we have a little bit more of a close rate, just a hair, 30%. So now we're closing at 30%. So it's just 48. We literally just went from 17 and a half to 48, just with better organic. Now there are
instead of 175,000, it's 480,000.
Yep. And then now there are 112 calls that did not get sold on the first call. The month before. Okay, so now walk us through how we're going to follow up with these 112 to add to the 48 closes that we have.
Yeah. Okay. Here's 2 emails that if you're a business owner, you can have your sales team implement. You can send as the founder. And I created this and had Dickie do it, and then we closed a bunch of deals. The quick question email. Quick question is one of my favorite subject lines, right?
Yeah,
that's just take that subject line, put it on any email. It'll have a higher open rate, and we can get into the different subject lines. But quick question, all lowercase. That's it. Hey, Briar. This is Tristan, the founder of X company. I noticed that you had a call with Jackson earlier last month, but you decided not to go forward. And in the notes, he mentioned XYZ pain point and 1, 2, 3 goal. based on that, you are someone that we can absolutely help. So I'm just curious because we want to help people just like you. Did Jackson show up on time? Did he go through everything and answer all your questions? And if not, please let me know. We'd love to work with you in the future. And if there's a reason that you didn't move forward, we'd love to know that too. Thanks in advance for getting back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Founder Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
P.S. Someone just like you, screenshot, did goal. And it was only because they got started 30 days ago. Can't wait for that to be you. Smiley face. Bang. If you're a business owner and you send that email to your entire pipeline and you say salesperson had a call at this time, but you decided not to move forward, blah, 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 you will absolutely resurface maybe at least 1% of your pipeline, 2%. And so if you have 1,000 people, you just got 20 people back on the phone.
Okay. And we go right back to our 30% close rate.
And now here's the thing. And if you make a really compelling email or you make it better, you'd have 4% or 5%, depending on how organic they were. So let's say 5% for the sake of the math. So out of those 112 calls times 5%, that is 660. What is it? Or excuse me, 560.
Yes, 5.6.
Yeah, 5.6. So 5.6 people come back and buy.
Calls. Yeah.
Right? So that's an extra $56,000.
Yes. So, wait, this is crazy. All right, so let's tie this all back together. Plus 48 equals times 10. 1, 2, 3. So we just went from $175,000 a month to $536,000 a month by adding good organic and a follow-up.
Yeah, and it's like, this is what...
Minimum. That's like light. That's actually light.
Yeah, and that's what literally like, if you just look at the math, you can raise all these levers, right? Organic content will just drive up all the first few, all of them really. And then the follow-up continues. And then let's say over the course of a year, right? All you do, and even if it's conservative, right? Let's just say we get 2 follow-up deals per month. And that's 12, right? So that's 120,000, or excuse me, that's 24. So that's $250,000 extra per year just by following up with your leads. But let's say it starts to snowball and we can get into the compound interest or whatever. But like the reason I kept winning was because my pipeline was growing, and therefore my follow-up deal count was growing. And on the days that I didn't have any live calls for whatever the organic took a dip, or the days that I just didn't close anything live because I felt sick or whatever and I just wasn't on top of my game, or I just didn't get a great bunch of people that day that were a good fit, I'd then go to my list and I pull 2 units out and I make $1,500 or $2,000 based on that, right? And so, dude, like it gets nutty, and it's like one of my favorite books is The Compound Effect, right? And it just talks about
on my desk out there.
Yeah, it's like if you do the thing over 18 months, like you're not going to notice differences with 3 months, and with this example you might, but like don't buy into the fact that you're going to see a gigantic return off of this overnight. You can, and I've done that for a few reps where I come into their book of business and I treat a sales rep just like an entrepreneur, right? Where you have your book of business and what can you do to pull these levers. I had a guy who I didn't teach him any skill set training at all. I literally didn't watch a single one of his calls, give him any sales process training or anything. And I helped him take his income from $15,000 a month to $25,000 and then $40,000 a month. And he went on and got the best company award and met Alex Hormozy and went to acquisition.com and just crushed it. And he told me, he's like, dude, I literally I know that I can become the best because of how you pushed me. So it's the follow-up, but it's also that or die mindset that I talked about. And if I can just give those 2 things to sales reps, and it's not all sales reps, right? I'm not talking about the guy who's lazy and just wants to make $20,000 a month, like a laptop lifestyle. This is not for you. If you want to be one of those laptop lifestyle guys, that's great. Not here. This is for the advanced person who is already doing really well on a few of those metrics, but is just looking for that extra power up. It's just like get into that or die mindset to hit your projections every month. And you don't have to do it every month, but if you want to go flu game and do it, you've got that skill. And then the art of copywriting, email follow-up, text follow-up, nurture sequence, buy into that and close those not now people, and you just add on to that, you're going to double your income. And if you do that over and over and over and over again, whether you're a founder or a salesperson, the results compound over time. And same thing, I guess, would go for the content, right? It's like If you start by posting once a week, then you get to once a day, and then you get to multi-platforms, and then you get to XYZ. It just snowballs.
Yeah.
So many people aren't willing to pay the price though in the middle until they get that dopamine. And so for the reps, I like to make sure that they do the email, and then I'm gonna say, look, someone's gonna come from this email, even if it's one person. I just did this with one of my sales reps last week. We wrote an email together, tying the pain, the goal, and all the things that I just listed out to the person, and then we sent it out. And 3 days later, someone responded, hey, I've been thinking about this in the background. I wasn't ready in April, but I'm ready now, and I really want to get started. But I have this objection, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I said, okay. And he goes, oh, man, maybe he's not there, whatever. I'm like, wait a minute. Let's address all these things with a really compelling email. Hey, man, that's I appreciate you saying that, but if I can offer in a perspective, like, this is how we actually think about that. And yeah, the timing isn't right for people to get a tech job in December, but that means 80% less people are going to be applying, and therefore you have higher likelihood to get started now instead of January. Boom, boom, boom. Handle the objections with great copywriting.
Yeah.
Get him back on the phone, and he paid. And he made $1,300. And it's like, had you not sent that email, you would have not closed that deal, and you would have not made that $1,300. And so instead of thinking about how nutty the math can get on the top end, it's like you're costing yourself $5,000 every single month that you're not following up with your pipeline.
Yep.
That's conservative, right? And over time, as it compounds and you start to build affinity over time in these things, you're probably costing yourself $100,000 a year by just simply not following up with your list.
That's crazy.
And learning good copywriting. Because again, you send the same shitty email, you're not going to have that great of an effect. But if you get really, really good at subject lines and open rates, and then we can get even more granular with the data, right? Because it's like, how many people did you send the email? How many people opened the email? How many people clicked on a link? How many people actually booked the follow-up call, right? And then it's just like, it's all math.
I love it.
And the iteration.
I love it. Dang, dude. That's really good. I got to start implementing some of this stuff into my business like immediately.
Do you have an email list?
Yeah, I've promoted it once. Like, but I kind of like just like writing love letters to them. But yeah, I need to start.
Dude, Ben Bader style.
That's what I just started doing. I was on the yacht yesterday, and the first thing I thought, I was just sitting there. We're the only ones there. I was like, I just want to write these guys a quick note. Just wrote a quick note.
To your list?
Just talked about how cool it's been. Talk about what content can do for them. Send it. And I've closed. I mean, it's a big goal for me going into 2023 or 2026.
Yeah. With your CTAs, how many, from a content perspective, how often would you CTA your list? If I said, hey man, you got to build your list, and you know that too.
I would do stories twice a week, and then I would probably do one bottom of funnel. I have a lead magnet to a 5-day email sequence, a little EC action reel, that I would do once a week probably.
Sure. And
I would attach a content series to it.
Right.
So I have a series that connects to my lead magnet, so it makes sense. Right. So it's like, hey, here's a POV, me breaking down the data of this creator that I work with. Oh, by the way, comment data, and you'll get my 5-day data analytics masterclass if you want to do the same thing.
And then is the series like the weekly data analyzation?
Yeah, it'd be like a new creator, like me maybe breaking down now Hormozy, or me
weekly,
breaking down whatever.
Yeah, that's a great format. Yeah, just get.
You think so? Prioritize email list before getting too crazy, because I run a lot of my stuff just in the DMs to a VSL.
It depends, man. It depends. Like DMs to VSL funnel is great. Some people are going to swear by the book of call funnel. Some people are going to say webinar. Some people are going to say email list. But what I can say is, this. You're just talking about how Substack is awesome. Like TikTok and Instagram could start shutting you down.
Yeah.
What happens then, right? Email list, you own it, and you're going to have a much higher chance of them. Okay, let me ask you this. What is the likelihood that one of your followers sees your Instagram video? I'm sure not 100% of people see it.
No. It's below 50.
Okay, 30.
Yeah.
What's the likelihood that you send someone an email and they get notified?
Yeah, I have like a 90%. Oh, they get notified 100%. As long as deliverability is good. Yeah.
All right, 100%. Right, and so, hello, you own it, and you can message them whenever you want with whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so, email list is huge, especially on the back of an organic brand. PGA, half of their book calls come from their email list. And it's just a nurture. It's just like the people that have read the emails, it's like, I don't have to sell you. I don't have to sell you to anything.
No.
Right? Shout out to Ben Bader, man. Rest in peace. He was one of the only creators that I read their emails.
Dude, changed my life, bro. Changed my life. My most viral video on TikTok is me rereading a Ben Bader email.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he sent me this email. We went back and forth a little bit on Instagram whenever you connected us. I paid a deposit for his program. Unfortunately, never got to do it. But
yeah,
he sent me an email, and it was like something like, I have this tool that analyzes my sales funnel, and it's so awesome for XYZ reason. I was like, man, I have to get this. And he's like, you think I'm going to give it to you on this email? No. You stupid monkey, buy my program.
Crazy.
And like
crazy.
I just really loved how he was in touch with his list.
Yeah.
But like every single time. And maybe I wasn't a customer right then, but I could have been. I don't know why.
Yeah. So no, his emails are sick. They actually are all now at benbaderemails.com or check benbaderarchives.com. Somebody has taken his whole list, every email he ever sent, and put it into on a website.
Super cool.
So check out benbaderemails.com or benbaderarchives.com.
That's sick.
Dang, dude.
R.I.P. to the legend.
I know.
What was it that he did for you? Well, I'm sure a bunch of things.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think a lot of people think that because we had a video I had a video do really well and I got emotional on the video. We weren't friends by any means. You know, we met one time, shared a meal together, talked bi-weekly. Maybe you could say sometimes we would only talk once a month. Sometimes maybe we might talk a little bit longer. Not friends. No, would not be like boys, right?
The only thing I had was like a 1-day conversation with him on Instagram.
Yeah. So but what was huge is I was the second person in his program. We had some calls to help me really get my business in lines, and like he saw kind of the journey. I mean, he saw the whole thing, and he told me like, bro, like quit growth operating, quit email marketing. You got to go into content. Like there's a pocket here. You kind of already have some skills around it. You should go into it. And ironically, and then like 4 days later, Cole said the same thing. So there was kind of this serendipitous moment where I needed to get away from email and growth operating and go into content, which that was that little week felt like the Lord saying like, oh no, it's time to get into content as a short form agency. And then, I mean, that right there is enough to like change your life and feel like, holy cow, this person changed my life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then like, you know, you just think about people who just teach you marketing, because this is all just marketing. Like Ben taught me copywriting as much as Cole, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just some of that stuff helped me with my pricing, just kind of all of these like super small technical things. Like if I need something just real quick, I'll go PJ, Ben, Alex, and then that's my trio.
Yeah, how important has it been for you to have some of those pillar mentors? I mean, Alex, you said change the game. You were able to give
not more
80% of your time to it, even though it was only 20% of your income. Like, what would you say to the person who's doing this on their own, and they're like, they take pride in that, but like maybe that's cool, and you can figure it out, but like how much has mentorship and investing in coaching changed your life, despite you doing it at some risky times and despite you know having to really like bite the bullet and do it?
Yeah, I mean, mentorship is just another word for speed, in my opinion, right? And so I could have figured this all out and we could be having this conversation in 4 years. You know, I would just now be at the $3,000 a month, the very first one from 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so mentorship is just speed, in my opinion. You get to learn from mistakes faster, and like a lot of it is like this subconscious temperature raising of like, you just hear how they talk, you hear the vocabulary faster, you hear like, I didn't know what a funnel was until 2 years ago, you know, a year and a half ago. And then like you just kind of, okay, now I know book a call funnel. Now I know this. Now I know this. Now I know this. VSL, all these different things. You know, there's like things that I've said on this call that I'm repeating that I've heard Alex or Ben say. You know, yeah, to me that's what it is. It's just speed. And so you just got to think to yourself, like, am I willing to pay for speed, or am I willing to go work for somebody and it feels like you're slowing your career down, but you're actually speeding it back up?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and that's really the only two ways you're going to get mentorship, in my opinion. You know, I think I get so many DMs like, hey man, will you mentor me? it's just in today's world where everything's so accessible, the only person I'm mentoring is someone in my local church because the world's so accessible. Like you can't just be mentoring everyone online, especially. So either work for them or pay for their consulting.
Absolutely. Man.
And this is a huge thing with mentorship, is like one conversation can change your life. If you actually are sprinting, and if I am running 10 miles an hour and someone gives me a piece of advice that makes me 10% better, I just went from 10 miles an hour to 11 miles an hour. If I am flying my life with action with 100 miles an hour, I'm in a freaking race car, I'm going. And someone gives me a piece of advice and it improves me 10%, it's 110 miles per hour. Right? So it literally, like, there was 2 conversations that changed my life. With Cole that took maybe 15 minutes, and with Ben that took less than 15 minutes. Time to go into content. Boom, changed my life. Time to go into content. Boom, changed my life. I need Alex. Alex, what do you think I should price this at? Boom, price it here. Okay, done. I don't need to freaking, you don't need to hold my hand. You don't have to tell me that you love me. Just real quick, I drop in. Alex, what do you think about this? Real quick. Ben, what do you think about this? Just real quick. And so many people like want to feel like seen by their mentor and loved by their mentor, and like that they're getting their time, which is fine and valid. But if your mentor is giving you a ton of time, I just kind of wonder, like, how dialed are they? You know what I mean? Like, a great mentor is doing some crazy stuff and learning, and then whenever you drop in, they're gonna be like, here's how you get 1% faster, 1% faster, 1% faster. Rich Summers, just paid for his mentorship, right? He probably just changed my life. Had a quick real estate decision. Hey, man, I got a long message real quick. Let me know whenever you can check it and you have time. I just need probably 3 minutes for you to read it and give me a quick reply. Boom, sent it. Here's my 3 real estate decisions. Go with decision C. I didn't ask questions. I didn't try to be like, hey man, I need you to understand my situation. I want you to, could we hop on a call? Nope. He said C. I did C, and now we're doing C. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's mentorship to me, is like, it's I'm doing a piss ton to get 1% better from this person. This person is just going to give me 1% better, but that 1% is going to move me. Whenever you're moving at such a fast velocity, bro, 1% is crazy. Okay, 1% on $1 billion is insane. Yeah. 1% on $100 is like,
yeah, and the compounding, right? Because you're not just going to stop there. It's going to lead to you getting that other 1% and that other 1%. It's like decompressing the time frame, paying down your ignorance tax. Like ignorance tax, even though people don't swipe their card for it.
Yes.
Right. Like, and it's the classic like BizOp example is like, how much money are you losing by not making 10 grand a month? And you just take that amount and times it per month, and that's real.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like Alex Hormozi talks about how the opportunity cost of not knowing how to make $1 million a year is $1 million a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're making 100 grand, well, you're paying $900,000 in ignorance tax. You're just not actually swiping your card for it. Same with time. It's like, it might take you actually an extra 3-6 months to do the thing. Let's say it takes you 6 months, and your time that it would take over that 6 months is, $2,000 per month. You just spent $12,000 by just taking that much longer.
Yeah.
Right. And so people just don't swipe their card for it. So I'm a big advocate of just the transformational coaching space. And of course, make sure your person knows who they knows their stuff. Right. And it's on you. Like, people ask me all the time, like, what's the success rate of your program? And it's like, dude, if I told you it was 20%, what would you do? Right. And you want to know the actual success rate of online courses?
It's 8%, isn't it?
It's 8%.
Yeah.
Like 8% of people do the thing, because humans have a miraculous way of talking themselves out of things and getting in their own way. Right. And so instead of relying on the coaching and how it's going to do everything for you, it's like, look, you're going to have to make the thing work for you.
Yes. Are you going to be the 8% or are you not?
Yeah. It's like,
I think Alex Hormozi talks about this. He joined a program and he was like, this is actually not that good, but he was the 8%. And so he took it, made it work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, it's an abdication of responsibility, right? Where I'm not saying go invest in someone that just give you some motivational quotes and then you pay 20 grand for quotes, right? Like that's an actual scam. And unfortunately, some people do that. But if the things are out there for you, no one's going to come and save you and do it. You're going to have to do the thing. And so if you're in the audience and you're trying to get to 10, 20, 50, 100K a month or whatever, like, go and absorb some of the self-help stuff. If you need to get your mindset right, just don't stay there forever. Get into a vehicle where you have an apprenticeship, where you can learn from someone that's just a killer.
And quit thinking about the vehicle so much.
Oh,
Just pick one, bro.
pick one.
Your vehicle will find you through action. Like my content found me after 18 months of action. Like you just take action. You take action. That time wasn't wasted. It's not like, oh, if only I had been starting in content. No. Like it found me through action. So that's just, I hate whenever it's like, what should my niche be? What should my business be? I don't know. Let's start ripping it and it might find you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, keep going though. So you said you were talking about self-belief to get to that 10, 20, 50K a month. Self-belief, vehicle.
Oh yeah, it's self-belief to just have the courage, right? That's number one. And then understand that everything comes at a price and that nothing's guaranteed, right? And do you want, and the fear of staying the same has to be greater than the fear of change, right? So if you've reached that point, if not, fast track it. Because if you're in that comfortable middle, I think Ben Bader even wrote something about this where it's like the person who's the most worst off is like the person who's making 15 grand a month and they're just comfortable and they're just living a life of comfort mediocrity, right? Yes. So if it's not painful enough, make it more painful somehow, right? Go get around some people that it's just like unbearable for you to stay the same. Get the courage and then get the mindset stuff a little bit. And that's why I'm such a big advocate of just run a marathon. Just run a marathon, please.
Dude, I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it?
I'm going to do it. I was going to do an Ironman. I'm not going to do an Ironman anymore. I'm going to do a marathon instead.
Okay. What are you doing February 15th?
My child could be born on February 15th.
Okay. We'll talk. We could maybe get you down to Austin Marathon, but if not, do a marathon.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Do something that gives you proof. It doesn't have to be a marathon. If you talk to me, it's going to be. But do something that gives you proof that you can do hard things, right? And take that and then apply it to a vehicle. Pick the damn vehicle, right? And just iterate violently. If you want to get an apprenticeship, do that and learn from a killer and get under them and just do everything they say. And remember this, like, so many people want to have these things, right? It's like people don't care about you. They care about what you can do for them.
Yes.
And if you can just wake up and say, how can I provide value and be useful and be of service to others? You're going to get everything that you've ever wanted.
Yes.
Right? So start there, iterate, keep shipping, realize it's a long game, sell yourself on playing the game. Like we were talking about with Dakota and his crazy studio that he's letting us use. Mm-hmm. It's an infinite game. Find a game that you can play for the sake of playing it.
Yeah, it's called autotelic. It's something that you would do just for the sake of doing it.
That's the marathon thing.
What is it? What is it that you would do? I mean, for me, it's content business, bro. Yeah. I would just, you couldn't pay me another dime if you're like, hey, go ideate. I would probably do it.
Yep.
Love it. It's a classic. How much would Steve Jobs have sold Apple for? How much money would he have paid to be able to keep running Apple? He was never selling. He was never going to sell Apple. He loved it. What was he going to do? He's going to sell it and then just go start another Apple?
Yep, 100%.
Because he loved it so much.
Dude, it's been a fun ride. Where can people find you?
Briar Cochran, bro. Briar Cochran on Instagram. That's the best spot. BriarCochran. DM me if you put Tristan Workman in the first two lines. I'll answer any question that you guys have.
Boom. Let's go, man. Let's go. It's been an absolute pleasure, man. I'm so glad we got to finally meet. I'm so glad that I hit you with the banger email to keep you in the program, those iterations. And I'm so proud of how far you've come. And I just can't wait to see you take over Omaha, Nebraska, the content landscape, and everything else that's to come.
Thank you, man. You mean the world to me. You literally changed my life. So couldn't have done any of this without you. Thanks, man.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
That's the pod.